What's good? What's good? Welcome to the Pro Wrestling Shoot. I am Jesse, and join with me today, special guest from Pro Wrestling Mods, RipZz. RipZz, thanks for joining me, man. How are you doing tonight, brother?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm great, dude. I'm great. I'm happy that we're even able to do the podcast tonight because I was telling you off air, I've been dealing with some crazy ass internet issues, dude. Spectrum is my enemy right now. I'm telling you right now, bro. As soon as we get like some fiber wire around my area, bro, Spectrum's out the door, dude. I don't know what is happening. It's not even on my end, bro. It's like something that's going on in my neighborhood. Some wire got split somewhere. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's excuses at this point. You know what I mean? It's like, I got some videos to upload. I can't be like uploading videos for 15 hours. You know what I mean? It's like, I got to get these news videos out, brother. Like, come on, man. What is good? Man, RipZz, you've been in the community for quite some time, brother. Quite some time. I believe that me and you crossed paths probably in a 2K24, I want to say, around 2K24, man. And you guys have been doing, I don't even want to say doing, I want to say you guys have been cooking some amazing stuff over at Pro Wrestling Mods, man. Tell me, how did you get started in this modding game, man? And what is it about this modding game that just keeps you going?
All right, so I'll give you the skinny of the backstory, man. So I came around the mod community. We're talking 2015. It was right before 2K16 came out. Okay. What originally got me was I seen a video on Smack Talk's channel. It was a mod by Tekken. He showcased the Goldberg, and I looked at it. I'm like, holy crap, this is amazing. So now I start going on the web. I'm searching around. Okay, like, where can I find this stuff? So, I pretty much found the Smack Talks sub forum from day one, pretty much. I was, just kind of like filling it out, looking at all the crazy creations and such. And at least for me, because I know, there's a ton of people that just want to, mod their game and play. From day one, me, man, I wanted to create. So that first night, I remember I just started DMing every single top modder I seen in that message board. And I'm like, hey, I'm interested. I just purchased the tools. If you could just, get me started. How do I texture mod? How do I sculpt and so on and so forth. Now, in those days, it was a lot. How can I say it? A lot of the guys kept a lot of things close to the vest. So I didn't get too many responses, and they probably didn't know whether I was serious or, anything like that. There's a couple people, I love him to death. Hover to God. He's, one of my staff members still to this day. He shot me like a whole Harry Potter book worth of directions on how to get started with texture modding. Oh, wow. And that pretty much got me started, man. I took that and I was just doing it piece by piece. So I would, pretty much get myself used to that process. Then I jumped into learning how to sculpt. Sculpting took a little bit of time. When I tell you, like, those first couple mods, man, just like sculpting, say like a shirt or a jacket, man, it would look like they had like one of those puffy winter coats or something like that. And what I would do is I would just start over. Okay, this doesn't look good. We starting again from scratch. And that's pretty much like how I got, I just built the reps pretty much.
And sculpting, obviously, for people that don't know, and they're just used to the creation suite that we have now, sculpting is nothing like doing a body morph on a caw that you have in the game. It is completely building it from the ground up, which is insane to me, dude. I've watched videos of people doing the sculpts, dude. It couldn't be me. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like, if I got into the modding, which, I want to get into the modding. I talk to Grix all the time, man. Like, this is my guy. And I want to be able to mod because I want to have like AEW stuff in my game. You know what I mean? I want to have like ROH stuff, indie stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
And for some reason, every year they keep on missing out on like the New Japan style turnbuckles. You know what I mean? That we can have in Creation Suite on console or anything like that. We got Marty out here putting center blocks on.
Oh, dude.
On the turnbuckle.
Dude, Marty is insane.
He
with
is.
The stuff that he figures out. It, like, still to this day, I can't figure out how he cracks all that on console. He does some crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, listen, shout out to Marty, man. He makes the game fun, and I understand like the development team. Like I've even spoke to a few of them, you know what I mean? And they're like, this game just really isn't built for modding. But then you talk to people like Grix and they're like, well, clearly it is, because we can mod it. You know what I mean? We're having a great time on it. And you see all the good stuff, man. Like, modding is a lot bigger of a community than people actually realize. And I think that a lot of people are turning into the modding community rather than just going for console, because there's so many different things that you can do on it, man. Like, I've seen blood mods, I've seen weapon mods, I've seen arena mods. You know what I mean? You're putting superstars in the game that are clearly not in the game, but they look identical to these models. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things that you do with modding that just makes the game stand out, bro. And
one thing I'll say is, and again, like I just told you, I've been doing this thing, 11 years now. And, looking at, and this is a conversation I had with a couple guys, including Grix. We talked a couple days ago where, we were both around 2K15, 2K16 and things like that, where you look at what the standard was back then, and then looking at, dude, I'll see a modder, come in, learn the ropes. Let's just say 2K24, 2K25, 26, and the level of detail just absolutely blows me away, man. It's insane. Like, it's to a point where, case in point, I had put out a tool. I think it might have been mid 25 or so. I know it was when Penta's DLC came out. And the only reason I put it out was it was an in-house tool where we was doing our the animation, the custom animations and stuff. So I seen Penta's entrance and I'm comparing it to real life. And I'm like, man, the pyro is off. This is off. So I went in there, changed the values of the, the animation definition file and got it good. Then I started thinking, I'm like, you know what? I've been sitting on this tool for about like 2 years, man. Let me just put it out, let dudes have fun with it, and let's just see what comes of it. Seeing the way the community just takes one thing and they just build it, like they show you things that's possible with it that you didn't even know. And this is something that you develop. So like, I dropped this tool and I'm like, oh yeah, you can edit, this value and you can do this, and this. They take that thing and they started like clipping up moves. So they're doing like move edits where they're splicing together multiple moves to do stuff that you see on like AEW and New Japan and all kinds of insane stuff, bro. It's crazy.
Listen, man, I'm a gameplay guy over everything, and that is just what I've been from day one, right? And when I see things like blood mods or even the belts that you made, you know what I mean? Like last year, bro, people like you had me convinced, all right, I'm switching to modding, dude, because the belts look better in the mods than they do in the game. You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing that's kind of drove me nuts about like the 2K games over the years. It's like, man, the belts just kind of look off, or this just kind of looks off. You know what I mean? And it's not to like throw shade at anybody creating the game. You know what I mean? But there are some people out in the community that are doing a fantastic job. And it's like, dude, why aren't these people hired in 2K? And I say that all the time. Like, dude, these guys can sculpt this stuff. Like, why is this not on the team? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And to be honest with you, man, just my personal opinion, I think there would be a lot more people that would, I'm not going to say work for free, but they would be more willing to do that kind of work for 2K. Are trying to live out a dream and contribute to their favorite game, more so looking for like a crazy payday and trying to bang them over the head for a crazy price or anything like that. And when you look at it, the content that's being pushed out, the game would greatly benefit from it. Whether it's like, let's just talk about like the belts. Whether it's myself, Seriously Eagles. He's another one that pretty much came up in the last game, absolutely crushing the belts. Long list, man. If we talk about arenas, Matt Fick, Titan, those guys do amazing work. Joe with the characters, and I know you had brought up Joe on when you was doing a podcast with Grix. I don't know if you're familiar with Bia. She does a lot of women mods.
Okay, I try to anybody that I see modding, I try to follow them on.
Listen, dude, the quality is insane.
Bro, it's some of my favorite follows, to be honest. Like it's the modding teams from WWE 2K, and then people that are modding like old school games, like the Aki games and stuff like that. AEW Mod Forever, shout out to him. He's out here modding Fight Forever, one of my favorite.
I love him. I love Don, man. He's awesome.
Awesome, dude. So like it's just wrestling games in general, bro. But seeing like people push the limitations of what these games can do is what intrigues me the most, I guess, is just watching that. Like I said, couldn't be me. Like if I'm modding, I'm benefiting off of everybody else's work. That's all. I'm like, hey, just let me plug this into my game and play, bro. Like that's all I want to do. But man, shout out to everybody doing that, because they're definitely my favorite follows. Like I mentioned the blood mod before, you know what I mean? Like seeing like certain, like blood is like one of those things that have kind of always been off for me in the 2K games as well.
Oh, absolutely.
It just looks weird to me. I don't know, but I've seen certain blood mods. Some are a little bit overdone, but then I see some that are like, oh, that looks real. You know what I mean? That looks legit. You know what I mean? And it's that kind of thing that like makes me want to get into modding, is because I'm just like, dude, I just want my game to look badass, bro. At the end of the day. You know?
Whether it's like the visual aspect, and here's the funny thing about my beginning days of getting into the modding. We talking 2K16, dude. My first like 4 months of modding the game was just custom themes and Titantrons. Because dude, I had got to a point with the games where I think at that time they had they was doing like the typical DLC releases and stuff, and I think we would come towards like the tail end. What was it, like 4 months in or something like that? And I would download a bunch of cars, and it satisfied me for years, man. You're talking about way back on like SmackDown versus Raw, doing formulas and stuff like that. But then with our 2K, it just got to a point where I was like, you know what, man, I just feel like maybe like this game is passing me by. Like it doesn't have that same magic to it anymore.
Right.
And then I ran into, that Smack Talks video with the Goldberg, and I started dabbling with it. And for 4 months straight, it was literally just, just the themes and the Titantrons. And dude, I was the happiest person in the world, man.
Yeah, because you had everything that was supposed to be in the game already.
Yes.
So that's what I'm talking about, man. Like, and that's probably how I would be just getting into the modding, like getting like updated titles, updated blood mod, certain weapons, the actual cable ropes for AEW rings or indie rings, and like the different turnbuckle styles and stuff like that. Like just seeing that in my game, I'll be like, oh yeah, here we go. We're in, you know what I mean? And it's simple like that, bro. Like I've been telling, and obviously, like the people that I talk to are not involved with the creation suite. Cornell is now, you know what I mean? But and I've told Cornell before, like, bro, we need these. Like, I understand you're making a WWE game, but you also like have stuff in your MyRise and your island to where you're going to Japan, you're going to all these places that do not have the same rope style. They don't have the same turnbuckle style. Like, you tell me you couldn't just change that and give us that option, you know what I mean? Like that's what I would like to see in these games, bro. But
dude, it would be cool with especially I think it's my faction. You can go to like different areas and things where they try to make it authentic. If you go down to Mexico, you want to feel that environment. You know what I mean? Like you want it to feel authentic to Mexican wrestling. Same thing with Japan. And
how I know that you don't play my faction? Because you said, oh, you got this world tour, bro. When you go travel to wherever you're traveling, you're still getting like the Hell in a Cell arena.
You see?
Arena. You're still getting all this. Like you ain't even in a Mexico arena when you're in Mexico, bro. You ain't.
See that shit right there, man. It's like it's similar to how can I say it? Every arena, most of them are usually in the same MSG. I think they call it the MSG stadium. Everything is in that home base. It's nothing that deviates, nothing that feeds to that environment, that feel, and that's something that they should have. I think it was Lee Valentine. I think y'all might have had a disagreement not too long ago. But she put a post up not too long ago. Which, listen, shout outs to Lee. I love her. She does get a little intense sometimes, but she means well.
A little.
But she had put a post up recently where I think it was yesterday, where she had put up like, she thinks it would be like this really good idea where they add in the voiceovers like during the match, where like it's the authentic to the wrestlers' voice with the grunts and with the taunts, have every taunt have that voiceover. I know with CM Punk it would be limited to have like the his clobbering time and things like that, but adding to that authenticity across the board would do them so much wonders.
And shout out to Brian Williams too, because he's actually like that's kind of his bread and butter, man, is trying to make like, and obviously with the size of the roster that they have, he's not going to be able to get to everybody, but he has been like trying to make characters more authentic, like what he did with Angel this year, just ripping off the shorts or the shorts, and then you reveal the trunks and all the like the different animated attires that he's creating, you know what I mean? So like that's what he is going for. As far as voiceover work, from my understanding, it's like, I don't know, we live in a world of AI, right? Like to where we could realistically get something without them actually coming into the studio recording it, but there are some wrestlers that come in there, they record the voiceover, they do the thing, you know what I mean? But it's unfortunately just not gonna be realistic to get everybody.
Yeah, probably a schedule type deal. These guys are traveling all over the place, but like you said, even if you could work out a deal where at least the large majority agrees to, hey, take this sample of my voice, you can use it in AI to generate what you need, for the game.
Yeah,
I think that would be, pretty cool too, especially when you have that sign off.
I think that's kind of tricky for them working with WWE too, is like WWE has so many barriers that they don't allow these guys to cross, right? So Rey Mysterio and the Mask being one of them. Obviously, we just got an exclusive look at, this new persona that's coming for season 3, and it's the Filthy Animals. Rey Mysterio doesn't have the mask, or he does have the mask. I mean, sorry. And obviously this is a licensing thing and they can't remove the mask from Rey Mysterio, but it's just things like that they run into. And I don't really put that on the 2K or the Visual Concepts team itself, you know what I mean? Because I don't think that's a call that they can make, right? Like it's more so of like, hey, can we put this in the game? No, you can't. Yes, you can. That's what it is. But shout out for the $5 super chat, by the way. It says, huge thanks to RipZz and the Tribute and Pro Wrestling Mods team for all the support they've shown custom animations over the past year.
I love Galgus, man. Shout outs to you, man. He's super supportive. He's one of those guys. He's one of the move edit guys. So when I dropped that tool, man, dude, those guys just started digging in so deep and just showing me things that was possible with that tool that I had absolutely no clue of.
That's
absolutely
insane.
Cooking.
Yeah, you know what? The patience that it must take to even deal with moves in general, and like even outside of the modding community, I think of people like Sky Factory, you know what I mean? People like the Big Righteous, all these other people that are just like move creators. They create all these move sets. Like, bless your hearts.
Yeah, dude. So Big Righteous, he's done some work on the game in the past, like that official move sets, and dude, when I heard that, I was like, the amount of patience that had to take to know everybody's moves and where to place them and stuff. Oh man, I would have went crazy.
Brian Williams dives into some of that stuff too. I don't know if he still does, but I know that he did, because I remember him reaching out to a few people asking for references for like Muda. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Like, hey, I need some like, authentic references for Muda to get his moveset, and you know what I mean, all this other stuff. So they're like fully dived into movesets or anything like that. I know he's just a gameplay designer, but I don't know, man. These guys' roles change every single year.
But if I'm thinking correctly, Brian, wasn't he the one that was responsible? So when they were back in THQ, he was always responsible for those move DLC packs. Yes. Getting us like the indie moves and all that stuff. Man, love Brian.
So he was the mocap guy, man. Like he was like the guy to go to get all this stuff mocapped, and he doesn't deal with that now. Like he's not involved with that now. But shout out to Brian, man, because all the people that he did mocap with were not all of them, but most of them were actually on the pro wrestling shoot at some point. We're, you know, like Mike Mondo, you know, I don't know if people know who Mike Mondo is, you know, if you're
most of these kids won't.
Okay, so if you're living in like just WWE land, he used to be Mikey from the Spirit Squad. You know what I mean? Now he's like jacked, looks like a freaking beast on steroids. Mike Mondo, dude, massive on the indie scene. I think he's in NWA now, actually. And, you know, people like Matt Seidel, you know, TJP, all these people that used to go and do the motion capture. You know what I mean? Mike Scher, rest in peace, Mike Scher. He actually passed away last year. So these guys were doing the mocap. And so thanks to Brian, I was able to get in contact with a lot of these amazing pro wrestlers to tell some great stories on the show when we were just like Spotify stuff, you know what I mean? Like it's just Spotify episodes at the time, not even over here on YouTube. But yeah, dude, Brian's the man, dude. That's my boy. I will defend that guy until I die for sure.
Dude, he seems very genuine, man. The rare time, because he doesn't post often on Twitter. No, but the rare times he does, man, he's always talking about how much the series means to him. Like, and you're dating back, like I said, to the THQ days, and just different time periods of his life and the things that he was going through and how much that development process meant and stuff like that, man. I got a lot of love for Brian.
Yeah, dude. He really is a great guy. And honestly, like there's a lot of things I could say about Brian, bro. I'm not gonna sit here and have a whole glazing session, but that's my boy, dude. that is my boy, and he knows he's my boy. You know what I mean? Like I talk to him frequently. We talk wrestling, we talk movies. There's a lot of stuff that we talk about outside of this whole game situation. You know what I mean? Very blessed that I got to reconnect with him back in 2018, and it's been a blessing ever since, man. Like, shout out to that guy, man. He's dope. AEW Mod Forever with the $4.99 says, we appreciate everything you do for the community. Two goats, pro wrestling mods. Appreciate it.
Shout outs to Don. Absolutely love him, man. He shows so much love, man. He tells
great.
Me all the time. He's like, dude, you and Griggs, you guys are my senseis, man. So, the tools and all that stuff, it keeps me very busy. It's kind of hard to free up time the way I would, like to, help over there and things like that. But it's definitely one of those things I want to step into and, help him fully flesh out everything that he's doing with Fight Forever, man. He's doing the Lord's work with that.
I'm one of the ones that actually enjoys the game Fight Forever if it had more content. And because of AEW Mod Forever, he's putting that content in the game and keeping it alive. And that's another reason why I would love to switch to PC. I'm saving up, man. I'm telling you, I'm saving up. I'm going to get up because I was talking with Griggs. He's like, yeah, you can just get this starter and it would be enough to play 2K26. I'm like, nah, man. I got to go all out, brother. Like if I'm getting a gaming PC, it's got to be top tier because it's not just wrestling games that I'm playing, bro. Like once GTA drops for PC, you know what I mean? Like I want to be
and you're doing it the right way because one thing I tell anybody that comes to me about what PC should I get, first thing I ask them is what's your budget, and then we'll try to work from there because when you jump to PC, especially as you start diving into different games, dude, you feel it's a 9-day difference between console and PC. 9 times out of 10, if because I have a Xbox and a PS5, I got a Switch 2 as well. But if the game is also on PC, that's where I'm going with it.
Right,
the fluidity is just next level, man.
Yeah, and once again, you know what I mean. Like the modding just kind of gives you more to do. Like I want a gaming PC for so many different reasons that are outside of WWE 2K26, right? Like I love the stuff that's getting done on the Aki games, right? A lot of these different mods that are going up on there. And shout out to Conrad from Everything Pro Wrestling. He's usually showcasing those because he just recently got a gaming PC and he's always showing me a bunch of shit. And I'm like, bro, I gotta get on that level, man. Come on. So it's just crazy, bro. Like with podcasting and with YouTube and stuff like that, there was always something else to get, you know what I mean? For me personally, over a gaming PC, because I look at it like, all right, well, I got the consoles, I can at least play the games this way. I would rather upgrade a camera. You know what I mean? Like, let me get this $1,500 camera. Let me get this.
See, when you building up the the channel and such, that's a smart investment.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at now. Now it's like I got everything I need. You know what I mean? Now get like a dope ass monitor. I want to get the gaming PC getting ready.
Hey, dude, we definitely got to get you on the dark side, man.
Oh yeah, well it's coming, bro. It's definitely coming. Like it's for sure happening. It's just a matter of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah, whenever you're ready, man, we'll get you started. I can guarantee you're definitely not gonna look back. You're gonna be like, dude, why was I playing this on console all these years?
Yeah, and I have a feeling that is exactly how I'm gonna feel. So I'm ready for it, brother. And speaking of that, dude, like you helping people out, I see that all the time within the community about people reaching out and asking how to get started in modding, because it seems pretty intimidating if you're new coming into the game, like you were talking about. It's intimidating, but I see you reaching out. I see people like RipZz reaching out. I see other people helping others learn the craft of modding, which is incredible. I have a Discord server and I have a few people in there that mod, and they say that they got the help from either RipZz or they got it from Pro Wrestling Mods and you. And that's pretty amazing, dude. Like, do you got any stories about getting somebody up in modding? Because I know that RipZz got a couple where he taught some people to mod, and now they're just like up here, right? Like places that he never seen.
All right, so my biggest one is Joe. Funny enough,
Joe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with Joe, and dude, I think about this all the time with him. I want to say I like to say I played a small role. It was really just like he was getting started, learning certain things. I remember Joe used to shoot me DMs, and he would ask me like things like, "Oh, hey man, how do I merge the inner eye with the rest of the head so that way I can sculpt everything together?" I say basic, but the beginner stages of stuff like that. Yeah. There was a couple times in the beginning where he'll be doing a texture, helping them blend in certain things and stuff like that. So we're talking probably 2K18, maybe 19, something like that, somewhere around that time. And seeing where he took just those bits and pieces, and you see where he's at now, that quality level. I can't even. There's sometimes I'll say, you know what, man, I want to do a legend mod or something like that. I can't touch the quality that Joe is doing at this point, man. I gotta shoot him a DM like, hey, bro, you think you can take a look at this and help me out real quick?
Dude, he does some amazing work, man. I remember so for a few years, man, I was asking for this certain crow sting, and I still have the picture from that. I do believe it was from 25 that he did it. And I actually I sent him a DM, or I hit him up and I was like, yo, I'm going to use your picture on a thumbnail. You know what I mean? Because I just can't find a sting that looks like this, And sure enough, like he created the crow sting that I've been wanting creators to make for years. Nice. You know what I mean? And it's the original crow. Like he doesn't have like the swirly face paint, just the crow, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. With the like kind of short up to his ears hair, the curly black hair that he had first getting started, you know what I mean? And when Joe made that, I as soon as I seen that was like the moment that I was like, bro, I need to get a PC, you know what I mean? Like that. Dude,
his characters is just they leave me speechless 9 times out of 10, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, I like to say I played a very, when you look at the quality level, I like to say I played a little small role. It was really just getting the ball rolling, and then he just took off. And it's insane.
Yeah, dude, he does phenomenal work, bro. But like I said, man, a lot of sculptors out there do amazing work. I see, like comments like this, and T-Rex, I'm gonna get you your super chat, brother. So, but you lose crossover creations on PC though, and the reason why that doesn't matter to me is because if you're plugged into a modding community and you're on like a Patreon, for instance, you know what I mean, you can get all these other creations. To me, you don't really need, and that's no shade to like all the CAW creators, right? Because there's amazing CAW creators that keep this game alive. So please don't take this personally, what I'm about to say. But when it comes to mods, there really is no comparison. You know what I mean? So you can get, if you're in the modding community and you're plugged into modding, and you can get the characters that RipZz is making, the characters that Joe Mashups is making, you know what I mean? Like all these other people. you really don't need community creations for that. You know what I mean? Like, and
that's and to me, like that trade-off, the last 2 years hasn't really bothered me too much, because it's at a point with the community where so much stuff is being made where there's nothing I can really say, damn man, if I was connected with the Xbox and the PC guy, the PS5 guys, I'd be able to get X, Y, and Z. 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be somebody that's gonna make that.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a Takeshita or whoever, you're gonna get somebody that's gonna make this stuff. Even if you go back to the ECW days, Sabu, it's a long list of creations you'll get.
Absolutely.
And like you said, shout out to the people that do create within like the game's creation suite, whether it's like the wrestlers or the arenas and stuff like that. Because listen, with the restrictions that they put on there, man, you gotta be highly skilled and creative to make that stuff work.
And some of them are phenomenal, man. Like some of them actually turn out damn near just like the character in real life. You know what I mean? Like shout out to like, I think of like Sean Smith, for instance, like his Legion of Doom. I look at that and I'm like, yo, that's great. Like he did the LOD 2000 and I immediately grabbed that. And then there was who am I thinking of? Like what is it? Kalua?
Oh yeah, Kalua. Yep.
Oh my goodness, dude, that boy be cooking all the time on my AEW creations, bro. Like we get and I don't think it was him that made the Young Bucks, but I can't remember who made the Young Bucks, and it might have been
more than likely I seen it, because as soon as you said, I remember a tweet and it looked insane.
Dude, I was like, what? Like, this isn't a mod. Like this is the best looking, because Young Bucks are a tough one to crack. I feel like whether it has to do with the hair parts or whatever, there's just tons of restrictions for them, or getting a face morph right. For some reason, a lot of people have struggled making the Young Bucks. This year, I have a set of Young Bucks that I'm like, I'm happy with it, bro. Like Will Ospreay is another one that I got. Who else? Like Kenny Omega. Like there's always.
I was just about to say, I seen an Omega. I think it was last year.
Yeah.
And when I seen the tweet, at first I thought it was a mod.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh no, Creation Suite, download it. Here's the hashtags." I'm like, "No, hold on. That looks unreal."
Yeah, and that's what I mean, dude. Like even with the restrictions that they have, they still cook, dude. Like, and like even though like I done blocked like Lee Valentine and all, like we had our issue, like she made a phenomenal Sable. You know what I mean? Like
man.
That she made that like for the women's creations that I really loved. Like she did a fantastic job, and within the limitations that she had, I think she's modding now, but within the limitations that she had, she did incredible. Like, you know what I mean? And it takes patience and dedication to do things like this. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And Status, of course. Like I can't forget Status. You know what I mean? Like Status is always
he's a persistent dude, man.
Yes. Yes.
We don't talk as often as we used to. But anytime I do catch up with him, it's the same mindset. He always says, "Hey man, they changed this in this game. I'm gonna figure out how to do it." And he means it. He will not quit until he figures out how to get that done.
Yeah, bro, man. Shout out to Status, man. Like that's one guy that I really wish I would have seen at Creation Fest this year. Creator Fest is Status. You know what I mean? Like we definitely need more people that create within the system and modding too. You know what I mean? Like I don't know like all the details on what the devs have against the modding. I just know like some comments that have been said, you know what I mean, about the game just not being built for modding. You know what I mean? But
I think no, go ahead.
I was gonna say realistically, like I've been pretty vocal on that. Like we know why it's not mod friendly. It's because they're trying to sell you something, and that is the island parts and my faction personas and stuff like that. So I get it. Like as a business perspective, I definitely get it. But that's another reason why I would love to switch over to the modding side. Like Grix, man, like in his thing where he said just a checkbox, you know what I mean? Like shout out to Grix, brother. Like he sends me like the that Eddie Guerrero that's now a persona, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, that looks fire, bro. And he's like, yeah, you want to see a full version of it? he's like, I'll unlock it right now. And I was like, yes, I do. He just unlocked it. I was like, yeah, man. See, that's another reason why I just need to hop on over there, bro. Like, because
but see, and the interesting thing too, man, with them saying spider shit. Okay. My bad.
Feel that, brother. Get that out of
here. This is what happens when I'm out in the shed. But the interesting thing about the claim of, it's just not, I guess, mod friendly or whatever the verbiage was, is it could be. And
obviously it's moddable. You know what I mean? We can say that. We've seen it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but even if, how can I say, man, if the fear is, okay, we don't know how to I guess, police, certain things like, somebody, dropping unlock off a console or whatever the case is. I totally understand that. But, these are the reasons why, those that are in charge with it need to kind of, see what the current gamer base, and this is not just WWE. If you look at Skyrim's had modding for years. Starfield stuff wasn't even like officially supported first. They started that on their own, and then the devs were like, "Hey, man, you know what? Here's some tools to help you guys along the way." Like that's just what the current player base wants at this point. Yeah. And if those that be got their finger on the pulse and understood that, we would be more than receptive to communicate of what we understand of what controls what barriers we can set up to protect their DRM at the same time as having a little bit of fun with the game. There's so much possibilities, man. It's just people opening up the door.
Yeah, and listen, man, I remember like the round table that I was sitting in, you know what I mean? And somebody in the chat had asked Lionel, and this was before the game came out. And somebody in the chat had asked Lionel about like the community creation split, right? And, Lionel was pretty honest. And I tried to tell other people too, like, listen, man, you're not going to have community creations on PC this year because they're introducing the island. Like it's just not going to happen, man. Like you have to understand like what they're trying to do as a company, even though we don't agree with it. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, the consumer is never going to agree with more purchasing, right? It's just what it is. But Lionel was like, listen, man, PC is going to PC. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no way that there's certain things that we have to protect, you know what I mean, as a company, and that's their job. And that's not even coming down from that's not even a Visual Concepts call, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, you have to understand that Take-Two and 2K, they're the ones that are like, how can we make more money on this game? You know what I mean? Like, how can we double the profits? How can we triple the profits? What do we need to do? You know what I mean? Have you ever heard of Season Pass? Have you ever heard of a Battle Pass? You know what I mean? Like, have you ever heard of like skins being sold in a card game? You know what I mean? Like, hey, you do that thing with NBA where it's the city and they can go around to shops and they can purchase Nikes and stuff like that. You think we could do that in a WWE game? Like, that's
the crazy thing is it's so close to the NBA side. Every element where everything you're saying is 100% valid.
Yeah, and that's how corporations talk, man. Like, that's how they think. You know what I mean? So, like, the people pointing fingers at like game devs and stuff like that, like, I get it because they're the only people present, right? Like, these are like people like Cornell, Brian Mazik, a couple other people I'm not going to name because I'm not sure that the community fully knows that they're on X, but I'm not going to name them. But people that are on X that make the games, right? Like, they're the only people that are present. That, you know what I mean? Like, it's the only form of communication that the community feels like they have. And it's already been taken away now from Brian Mazik, you know, because he's just kind of like, all right, done talking about 2K. Like, we're done here, you know what I mean? And I don't 100% think that was his call either. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's unfortunate, but that's what lands on people being public figures, I guess. You know what I mean? Like if you're the only person that we can reach out to, then you're going to get the front end of everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. All the frustrations, all the grievances, you know what I mean? So, but
well, see, I mean, if I remember correctly, you got a good little bit, a couple games ago after that, the interview.
What you talking about?
Was it 24? You did a dev interview, and I guess
probably.
I guess whatever was said in the interview, and then what we got in the game, I guess it was two totally different things. Or something like that. A lot of people were pissed off, and and like even with your situation, I think I had commented to you, and I'm like, man, it's unfortunate because I really enjoy like the dev interviews you were doing and stuff like that, and it kind of had you second guessing. And like matter of fact, it was the community creations when they first split it. And I think what he said was, it's because PC's last gen, and that initial excuse or whatever.
Yeah.
And like I try to tell people, listen, we know the real reason on why it's that way. Right. But you got to understand, like when the devs come and they're doing media and all that stuff like that, they're giving. I'm not saying like they send them with a whole, a whole sheet of everything to answer. But there's certain topics where they're like, hey, this is the answer you have to give.
Yep.
This is the corporate, the PR response. And I totally understood it when he said it.
If you look at Brian in that, if you can go back, and that was last year's, and you can go back and look at that interview and look at Brian. And when I asked that question, he said, yes, we know. He immediately looks down. He has the answer in front of him. You know what I mean? So he, it is what it is, bro. Like at this point, I think I actually got in hot water. Not really, but I don't know. Like 2K was like telling other people that like, he shouldn't have said that or whatever, because somebody in like the NextMaker server, right? Like at the time when the NextMaker server was still a thing, had sent me this interview that they did with PIF Partners. I think it was PIF Partners. And they had said in the interview that same answer that Brian gave me, the same answer. And I was like, and he was like, yo, if anybody wants to share this, like PIF Partners and 2K have given me the okay to share this information. And I was the only one in that entire server that was like, hold on, wait a minute. Do you realize what this is telling us right now? And nobody caught what that was saying. And I was like, dude, this is saying that the community creations is going to be split. PC is no longer going to be a part of this. And everybody's like, no, that's not what it's. I was like, read it, bro. Like, that's what he's saying. Due to limitations, this is not going to happen. This is going to split community creations. And I reported that. I reported that immediately because he said, hey, yeah. And 2K was in the server too. So I was like, hey, anybody got a problem with me reporting this? Anybody? 1, 2. All right, I'm going. Reported it. Nobody said anything. And then apparently after I did the video, everybody was like, oh,
Well, which sucks, man, because that wouldn't be the like the first situation where I guess they wanted to keep something unsaid until the game came out or whatever. Because I know there was and shout outs to Phoenix Nitro. He used to be in Vibe and all that stuff with Brandon Does Everything.
Yeah.
I know he had did I think it was an interview or something like that at the play event one of those years. And a matter of fact, I think it was 22. Okay. And the topic was advanced entrances. Now, if I remember correctly, I think 22 didn't have advance. It was something about it was instability or something like that.
Yeah.
And they pretty much pushed him. If I remember correctly, not to say anything until the game dropped. That caused a shitstorm.
See, and that's the problem, dude. Like it's questions like that to where it's like, hey, don't say this until like they just find out or they're surprised about it or whatever, It's like, bro, just like a little transparency goes a long way. Whether you're gonna get people like pissed off or not, you know what I mean? Like, because let's be real, man. Like, somebody is gonna be mad in this community no matter what. Like, they're never gonna be happy, right? Like, so you can't please everybody on the games, and people should understand that. But at the same time, I feel like the majority of the community, just from being transparent and being like, listen, guys, this is what we're working on. We understand that this is wrong. Like take a hit on your pride you know, as a game dev and say, all right, yeah, we fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, we did this wrong. Let me fix this. We're going to try to fix this. You know what I mean? And Cornell does try to do that. You know what I mean? At times, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes, you know, and I feel bad for them because I know they get the way they get cussed out, the death threats, you know, all that stuff like that. I know sometimes, because, you know, even doing like this side of things, man, it, sometimes you get a small minority where they get a little excessive with, you know, excessive and aggressive. And it can be a bit much. You can take a lot to the chin, and then sometimes you're going to lash out. And, you know, I'll see that with, you know, Cornell sometimes, or I think Brian Mazik had tweeted something out where he was like promoting for people to grind versus whatever they were doing with, I think it was Eric Bischoff or something like that. Dude, I'll be missing all the little cheat codes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But apparently that was a thing. And people actually, you know, they bombed him.
Yeah.
You know, for telling people like, hey, man, you got to play the game. And it's not saying like they couldn't have, you know, in hindsight, they couldn't have handled or said certain things better. But I also get it too, man. We can only take so much to the chin. Yeah. And we're bound to lash out sometimes.
Right. At the same time, dude, it's a video game. Like, people have to realize, like, it's a game. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to be pissed off at corporate greed, but at the same time, you know, to make a name for themselves. And you can see that in that tweet. You know what I mean? Is that it's like, hey, you know, we don't want you circumventing the system. I do believe that's the that tweet you're talking about, is the circumventing the system. And it's just like, excuse me, you know what I mean? Like, wait a minute. Like, we got to play the same damn match 10 times over and over to unlock some packs, bro. Like, we're trying to get this done quick because there's 20 more events to go and do that right after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you at least my insight on you know, what took place with Brian. Because I've been following Brian probably the last 9-10 years or so. Back when he was you know, writer for Forbes.
Yeah. Dude, EPW, Everything Pro Wrestling, like, that's his boy, Brian Mazik. Like, he's always like, we have a group chat, dude. That's Conrad's like one of my best friends, dude. So he's like, he's always in the group chat, like, man, my boy getting cooked. Like, my boy getting cooked. You know what I mean? He's like, I feel bad for him. And I was like, bro, I mean, you got, like, I do too, but at the same time, that was a horrible tweet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but see, having that, knowing how like the style of gamer Brian is, I kind of foreseen that happening.
You're right.
Because I'm seeing like the little chatter about the Eric Bischoff thing and stuff. And then I think they dropped the patch note and they referenced Eric Bischoff. Now again, dude, you know, I got children and stuff like that. So if I'm not sitting here coding and getting tools and stuff like that done, it's daddy time. So I'm not keeping track of everything that goes on. And so I seen the patch notes and I'm like, okay. Man, I know Brian. I know how he is when it comes to like, you know, NBA and the grind with that. Like, he's just a guy that he loves and thrives off of like the ultimate grind. Yeah. So then when he pushed that tweet, I'm like, ugh.
And the difficulty, man. Like, listen, like him and Terrell, like they're so shout out to both of them. You know what I mean? I've got no problem with either one of those gentlemen. Listen, like, that's just the type of gamer they are. Like, dude, Kenny Bomb. I'm trying to think of Kenny Bomb. Like, me and him differ when it comes to my faction. Like, he likes the challenge. Me, I want to get this shit over. Like, I want to be done with this.
That's where I'm at.
So I can go and enjoy the game, because when I'm playing my faction, there's nothing fun about the mode, bro. Like, to me personally, some people have a blast, like my faction reaction, Kenny Bomb, like people like that style of gameplay. Not for me, bro. Like, I play the mode and I like where it's going for certain things, like the events, world tour, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy that part of it, and ripping packs. Like, I enjoy that, but we don't get enough packs. The events like become just so frustrating at times to where it's just like, all right, bro, I'm not even having fun with this shit anymore. Like, get this over with so I can get up out of here and go play some universe mode. You know what I mean? So it's stuff like that. Like, people, it's so subjective, bro. Like, everything, like when it comes to these games, like everybody's going to have a certain play style. Everybody plays differently. I say that in my videos countless times, man. Like, there's so many people that play this game differently that you're gonna disagree on some things, bro. And for me, even though I play my faction, I actually support my faction. I go in there and play the mode. This year, you lost me because I'm just like, bro, it's too much. Like, I ain't got the damn time for all of this, you know? So
when you look at all the different areas, man, it's like I gotta invest a lot of time just to get everything, you know.
I still haven't even finished the world tour. Like, I've hardly touched like faction wars. Like, I barely got enough like weekly the weekly towers. Those are piling up. Like, I ain't got time to get in there. Like, I got enough time to play your live events that you drop, and that's about it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm out because they're too long.
I mean, being that we're already almost on the topic, man. What do you feel about the battle pass?
So at first, let me get these super chats. I'm gonna answer the question, bro. I got a couple super chats for a minute. T-Rex Carter says, with the $2, he says, can we get the ability to change the tires on mods? I think that's towards.
Okay, so funny enough, and again, this is just more so, me just being flooded with, getting the boat sailing, smoothly, trying to make sure at least by June, we're pretty much smooth sailing, man. That's been a priority. But funny enough, being able to go into Creation Suite with mods is actually possible. That is something that I was able to figure out early on in the dev process. I have tested it, so on and so forth. You can swap your hairs, clothing, so on and so forth. Everything works great. I do gotta, sit down one of these days and start doing a couple tutorials to show everybody pretty much, how to do everything. But that's definitely possible this year.
Well, there you go, man. I didn't even know you couldn't do that. Obviously, I'm not.
Yeah, dude. So the past couple games, man, it was like a weird thing where basically, like, if you had somebody with long hair, let's just say a Kenny Omega or something like that, if you went into Creation Suite, the whole game would just force close on you, just crash.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We could never figure it out. Coming into this game, that was one of the, it was a bunch of different areas, but that was one of the major things I wanted to dig into. And I was able to actually figure it out for the most part. Oh,
okay. That's good to know, man. Like, yeah, I didn't know that. I figured you guys could just do whatever you wanted basically in the game. It was a free for all. But Fringe Globe with the $9.99, man. I appreciate that super chat, by the way. I appreciate all the super chats. Thank you, guys. You don't need to do that. I'll try to get to all the comments as much as I can after this. But it says, I feel like if 2K gave you even more tools to help with modding, but charged you for the tools, then you would potentially still go over better than what they are currently doing. That's the thing, man. Like, I think that people need to understand too that it's a yearly game we're talking about. You know what I mean? Just like Madden, just like FIFA, just all these games, bro. Like, these guys are already working on 27. Think about that. You know what I mean? Like, I realistically should be pumping wish list videos for 27 right now.
Yeah.
But if I was, then people would be like, man, we're already talking about 27. Like, 26 is a dumpster fire. You know what I mean? So I already know the comments, bro. So I don't do that anymore. Like, at first I would start really early on making these 27 wish lists. But at this point, like, the game has such bad publicity that it's kind of rough covering the game, like, right now for everybody across the board. You know? Like, and it's so rough that I've even considered. I've talked to James. I'm like, yo, we're gonna start covering more games, bro. Like, we can't just like be making. I was hoping when I first started this channel, Fight Forever came out, right? Like, it was like when I first started covering games, Fight Forever came out. We were hearing talks of like the wrestling code. We were hearing virtual pro wrestling. Or not virtual pro wrestling, ultra pro wrestling. So we were hearing,
which I got a little something we could talk about on that too.
Okay, cool. And yeah, so I was hearing like all these games in the weeds, and I'm like, all right, cool. Switching to gaming. You know what I mean? Because I've played these wrestling games all my life. There's going to be enough games to cover. Didn't turn out that way. It turned out, hey, Fight Forever didn't last the test of time. It wasn't a fight forever. It was a fight for a month, and that was about it. and then 2K, man, like, kept doing their thing. So we basically just covered 2K. But I was talking to James, and I'm like, bro, we gotta, like, I'm playing all these other games. Like, there should be no reason that we can't cover a GTA, that we can't cover a Wolverine. We can't cover, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
Let's dip out and like try some other stuff. You know what I mean? So that's basically like what the future holds for me. You know what I mean? Because like I can't.
And to be honest with you, man, the way the way you guys do your interviews and such, man, I find it really enjoyable whenever I tune in. So like just think about that, like over time where you start branching out to other games. You're already cool with, you know, devs on, you know, this side. Just knowing, you know, let's just say a dev that worked on Wolverine, he looks at your past videos. Okay, he knows how to do these interviews, keep it professional. Let me go on and talk to those guys. It kind of opens the door for so much more.
That'd be awesome. Opinion. Yeah. Look, I appreciate the kind words too, man. And these dev interviews, as much fun as I had setting them up, I was so glad to see like other content creators come out and start getting them too, because I was just like, brother, this community is brutal sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, and they don't see like what goes on in the back end, right? Like they don't see, like, as we're live right here, you can see both of our cameras down on the bottom too, right? Where it says add or remove or whatever. Like you see what nobody else is seeing. Yep. Well, what I'm looking at when I'm interviewing these dev teams is 2K PR down there, and they're also in private chats over here, and they're saying, hey, we got like 4 more questions. Hey, let's wrap it up. Hey, like so, and that's no. Once again, shout out to them, by the way. Like, I'm not gonna say their name because I really enjoy the people that work over at 2K, but like that's what people don't see. You know what I mean? So it's like, why didn't you ask this question? It's like, well, because I got fucking told to end it. Like, that's where we're at. You know what I mean? And then like super chats start coming in, and I can't get to everybody's super chats because I have to be friendly to everybody else's time that's involved with this too. You know what I mean? So, and that's why we stopped doing them live, and we have to now pre-record dev interviews if we get them. You know what I mean? Because there's just no possible way to keep these devs on here for 3 hours straight answering super chats because they'll keep coming. You know, so it's pretty brutal, man. But you asked me about the battle pass, man, and that's honestly a loaded question, but for me, I'm going to answer it pretty simple. At first, when I first heard about it in the roundtable, I remember talking to James, and I was like, people are going to lose their shit over this. They're going to hate it. It's another form of monetization. I know how battle passes work because I'm familiar with the games that have them. You know what I mean? So in all the games that have them have tier skips, and they didn't say that they were going to have tier skips initially, you know what I mean? But I knew it was coming. I was like, this is going to incentivize people to pay more money to skip these tiers, skip the bullshit. I hated it at first. And I hated the fact that, you know, like Cornell and a few others, they were like, yeah, you know, it's not that bad. We're putting all the DLC all the way up to tier 20. I'm like, that's not a good choice at all. Like, put the DLC immediately on tier 1 unlock, and then keep your battle pass. Because honestly, now that they've pivoted, and I know that 2K wasn't happy about that because I've talked to 2K about that. Like, they were not happy about this pivot. Now that they've pivoted, I think that the battle pass is great. I honestly don't have a problem with it. Like, all my DLC is at the front. You know what I mean? It gives me something to do. It gives me something to work towards. And they've given you, instead of like the 10% boosters, now they're 50% boosters, and they've given you more of them. So I feel like if they do that same thing with season 3 coming up, which, you know, don't want it to be like too brutal or anything, but hopefully with season 3 coming up, and I'll show off Tori Wilson here because we finally got a first look at Tori Wilson's entrance. But if they do that and they give us the 50% boosters, even though we don't get the free 20 tiers like we did in season 2, I still feel like you're gonna bust through this pretty quick, man. If you're playing modes like My Faction, the Island, even Universe mode or anything at this point, if you're just playing the game, like, you're gonna get through it with those 50% boosters. And as long as we got the DLC tier 1, I'm not complaining, bro. How you feeling about it?
Dude, honestly, about the same. I think that they should have did that from the get-go. And I guess, you know, what I'm about to say is, you know, I guess free advice. The way I would have structured Battle Pass personally, because I feel like, again, they tried to, how can I say it? You're trying to sell, for one, the highest edition of the game.
Yeah.
And then you're also, on top of that, for me to get those characters, well, for one, to get access to possibly unlocking the characters, I got about $150 copy of the game. Then once I have the game, you know, I got to make it through 40 tiers. So if I don't have the time to grind through, you know, 40 tiers, I got to also pay for tier skips. So it's not even just that 150 at this point. Now I'm paying an extra 40, 50 bucks or 80 bucks to, you know, skip tiers.
You want that
to me, that's absolutely insane.
That's another $500, buddy.
Yeah. So,
bro, like,
man, what I would have did, and you know, this is a conversation I had with somebody a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Where and I guess this kind of segues a little bit into what I was telling you about with the job offer 2 years ago.
Okay.
Where well, first I'll tell you what I would have did. Then we can get into that story. Okay. I would have had DLC the same structure as always been. Even if they just put if they wanted to put it in there, maybe the first 5 levels or something like that. You know, make it super easy. You got your DLC unlocks.
Yeah,
that's it. And then, you know, the rest of the 35 tiers, I would have tried to I would have tried to pack that to the brim with different characters and such. And don't get me wrong, I give them credit for they picked up the content level outside of like what's the announced DLC packs. Like they've given us like NXT 2.0 and different things like that. Some of the personas, they'll introduce new ones as we go. And things like that. But I still think that when they introduced that battle pass, they should have stepped it up a couple levels, having just a dedicated set of people that would have been, you know, almost like a live service almost.
Yeah.
Where somebody should have put enough time in there to say, you know what, let's get a small team that we can depend on, that when there's a big event, let's say Mania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, where once those events are done, let's just say a couple weeks later, you got that updated Randy Orton, you got that updated Cody Rhodes, and so on and so forth. You make that battle pass feel more like a live service where, okay, you're paying for the premium, but you also get all these extra incentives as well.
Yeah,
and I think that's where they missed the mark, man.
But I'm afraid all we can do is some Faction Wars tickets for you. That's where the problem lies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Listen, dude, this game, in my opinion, like here's the problem with it, dude. And when I was at Creator Fest, I was talking with Jess Bryan, I was talking with Matt Assemble, I was talking with other creators. You know what I mean? Aaron, Simply Better is how people know him the most. Afro, Jaren.
Shout out to Aaron too. Absolutely love him, man.
Yeah, he's great. He's great, dude. I love Aaron. But yeah, I'm talking to these creators and we're like, I think we're back. You know what I mean? Because we're playing this game. You know what I mean? We're like, this is dope. Like this is the gameplay that we've been wanting. You know what I mean? So to me, looking, you know, from the outside in, I'm like, dude, this game should have been a layup, brother. Like it should have been a layup. Like if things were working and they didn't have to fix so much, right? But shout out to them because they're actually, you know, putting these patch notes in and they are addressing a lot of stuff, which is more than I've seen for the past few years. I would say these patch notes have been pretty crazy, but like seeing what this game has in it, like, dude, this should have been a slam dunk, dude. The problem is like you just introduced the island to us last year. So not only on 24, that's what's crazy, bro. Like 24, they hit us with the first personas, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, all right, well, here's your first taste of persona cards. You know what I mean? And then everybody's seen like, oh shit, I had to spend $500 to get the Rock with a tank top. You know, yeah. Like, this is crazy. So, and then it started getting progressively worse for the personas in 24. So that was our first taste of like crazy monetization. The next year we get the island, and then that's like the thing that plagued him the most, right? Like the island, every island video I made, and I was actually excited for it because I play NBA 2K, so I'm like, yo, the city's dope. I don't mind the city. Like I have fun in that, so maybe this would be cool. But I wish Conrad was on this podcast too, Conrad from Everything Pro Wrestling, because he knows what we would have wanted. Whole like wrestling themed island, you know what I mean, to where you could see all this cool shit from history. You know, and instead we got like the wasteland.
Man, dude, like not only that, dude, but so this year was my first time actually loading up the island.
Right.
And man, and I'm not trying to put the mode down. I still feel like they're trying to flesh it out to get it to like the size of what it is on NBA. But again, like you said not too long ago, it's almost like the publisher, Take-Two is just like, hey, this works over here. Just copy and paste it.
Yep.
Bring it over here. And with wrestling, man, there's so many areas that I feel like the island could be an absolute banger. Where like if you had something where you could you're online, massive, MMO type style. You can create like your own federations, and you can join people's feds, and you can climb the ranks and
your friends watch, like something simple.
Yeah, man, it's so much.
You could roll up on like just a regular basketball court like you could in NBA, you know what I mean? Roll up on a regular basketball court and just watch your friends playing like 1v1, you know what I mean? Like, it's like I can't do that in a wrestling match, you know what I mean? Like, and obviously, like the wrestling games, I don't expect them to replicate like what a basketball game can, because I know, from word of mouth and just from seeing it from experience, that wrestling games are some of the hardest games to possibly create, and that's the reason why we don't have very many of them. Like we only have this one, and it's only one license, you know what I mean? So, but at the end of the day, dude, like, 24, we got hit with the personas. 25, we got hit with the island. That plagued everything. Every island video I made was just like this. Good luck, coming from NBA players, like good luck with this. And then 26 comes, and now we have Ringside Pass. So it's like 3 different forms of monetization year after year. And that's where they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot, dude, when it comes down to it. It's like the people at Take-Two asking 2K, like, how can we make more money on this game? Well, first of all, make a good game. Like, just make the game, people will come, bro. Like, word of mouth will spread that this game is so badass, the best wrestling game that we've ever played, that people will pick it up. Even old wrestling fans, you know what I mean? They'll be like, oh, yo, Hulk Hogan's in this game, and you could do what? You could do all the stuff that you could do in like the THQ days? Yo, I'm in. Like, let's go. To create a stories back? Bro, I'm buying it.
That's another one, dude. I can't figure out why they haven't brought that back yet. I used to see YouTube channels for days. They would create all kinds of dope stories, man.
Yeah, bro, I was banking on it this year, bro. Like I was banking on that being the content this year. Other people were too, I was talking with just Brian, Kenny Bomb, all that. So I was like, bro, if it comes back, dude, with like content's lit, dude. Like we're making content all year, bro. Like it's gonna be insane. But it didn't happen. I've even talked to some of the devs. I'm like, bro, when is it happening? Like this has got to come back, you know what I mean? Because Universe, people want Universe to be that thing, you know what I mean? That catches everybody and gives you that full WWE experience. But truth be told, man, we're still years away from that possibly be even close, like remotely close, And you look at games like, WWE 12, WWE 13, 2K14, where they had like story designer and they had a full calendar year that you can just like, it's universe mode, but you're writing the damn story.
Yeah.
Like, just give me,
dude, it was insane.
Incorporate story designer within universe mode and call it a day, brother. Like we could do this. Like let us pick the cutscenes, let us fully scene out the entire week and then play it through, bro. It'd be so much fun. Like I don't understand it, but
I mean, I hope at some point, because I know, conversations I've had in the past, I know they said it was a lot of areas with like the older games where, essentially once Ukes left, they didn't really have like a good understanding of, the engine and the file format and things like that, which is why we've seen so much switching over in file changes and stuff like that. So hopefully it's kind of the same thing. And I would assume that it was like that with Inferno match and the casket and so on and so forth, where like once they get a handle on it, maybe we'll go ahead and we'll be able to see it pop up again. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, and that's something that I'm hoping for. You know what I mean? Like you got to hope for this stuff. I have talks with Christo a lot about universe mode and what it could be. You know what I mean? And
see, now the sucky thing is now if you go on X and you share that hopefulness, man, you are gonna get cooked. I've learned that the hard way. Because every now and again I'll tweet out and I'm like, oh, man, you got to understand it's like a 8 to 9 month, dev process. As soon as this one drops, they're working on the next one, priorities. And they're like, dude, we ain't trying to hear that shit, man. They need to get this stuff in the game.
And, and rightfully so, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to, like, I understand that process too. And I get it, but it's like, how many years, bro? You know
yeah,
what I mean?
That's true.
What are we talking about at this point? You know what I mean? Like Brian Williams left 2K in 2019. He was working for Ukes. So 2K19 was the last game that Brian was a part of. Wasn't a part of 2K20, right? And that's when they had that growing period of, I guess, trying to learn the system and build everything up from ground up. I don't know. Christo has actually, a lot of people don't know this, but the same guy that's worked on the universe mode since day one is still working on universe mode today, and that is Christo. He's the guy that started it in 2011, SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, and he's the guy that's making it better today in 25. Why it's taken so long to add whatever is not really, like, I don't blame him. You know what I mean? I understand the dev process of, like, here's the ideas we want to focus on this year. How many of them can we get in? You know what I mean? How much?
And that's the unfortunate thing, man. I don't know if you've seen the there was a tweet I put up the other day kind of talking about that a little bit. A couple people didn't really understand the message I was getting across, but when you deal with major publishers, dude, the list of responsibilities, because you got to think, it's not Take-Two, the publisher, coding the battle pass and when they say hey, we want to add the island in there, because NBA has this. No, Visual Concepts has to go in and figure out how to put this stuff in and code it and all that stuff like that, and then they're told hey, this is top priority, this is gonna double and triple and quadruple our our income, so concentrate on that. Everything else has to take a backseat, and it sucks because I'm pretty sure, man. And it's not, I'm not, excusing things that, take so long, but I also understand where it's like, each dev cycle where it's like, man, I was hoping, this next game, I'll be able to work on this. Now I got to sit it back on a, on a back burner once again. It sucks.
And it all comes down to a budget too. And like one thing that I learned this year, unfortunately, is like when we were talking, to a game developer, I'm not going to name who I was talking to, but we were talking to one of them about like, why don't we have an Iron Survivor match in here? You know what I mean? Like, it's been out, it's been a thing on WWE television for years now. Why didn't we get like the Lion's Den or whatever?
Oh man, that would be awesome.
Like, why didn't we get these things? Like, why don't we have a strap match? CM Punk just had a strap match last year, and you just gave us a CM Punk showcase mode. Like, that would have been perfect to introduce. Here's the new match type, the strap match. Like, why don't we have these things? Because they cost money. Like, they cost money to make, like, to put that resources in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which sucks, man.
That's the answer I was told. It's like, hey, we can get you these things, but it's probably not going to come with a lot more after that. You know what I mean? Like, and then immediately when I was told that, I thought back to 2K23, and I'm like, oh, right. Because War Games was the only thing we got that year. Like, there was nothing else that was good about that game. Like, just War. You know what I mean?
Dude, like, can you imagine like some of the match types that they still haven't touched on yet? Like you said, the strap match. If they decided to do like a Texas bull rope one day or something like that, like how cool stuff like that would be.
Yeah, they'd have to make like a whole new physics system, obviously, like to where you can like pull your opponent around, like either by the dog collar or strap or whatever you're using. But like, dude, it would be so much fun, man. Like, like a new experience. And I think that's what was most excited about for like something like the Bloodline rules. Like when that came in, like, even though it's just run-ins, it's like, 3 run-ins per side. When I seen it, I was like, dude, this is the funnest match that 2K's ever done. Like, it's so chaotic.
When that game launched with that, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And it was, like you said, it wasn't like that much different, but just the fact that the concept was in there.
Yeah,
I loved it, man.
And it was just chaotic, dude. Like it was like one of those. It lets you recreate different scenarios. Like, bro, you can run anything with that Bloodline rules match. It doesn't have to be Bloodline. Obviously, there's tons of factions in wrestling. You know what I mean? So you can have a lot of fun with that match. And I do personally like it's still to this day my favorite match in 2K right now. But yeah, dude, like something, like they took out. We were talking last week about the championship scramble match. And I remember like talking to, like Brian, and I was like, yo, bro, why did this leave? Why can't we have this back? And he's like, oh, dude, you like that match? That match was trash. And honestly, I've been cooked in comment sections too, saying like, yo, you actually like that match? Like, dude, who didn't like that match? It was fun. It was unpredictable. It was different, So it's like,
see, me, and I'm the type of gamer, man. I want the match types to be loaded with everything. I may not play everything, but just knowing that it's there, I might have a day where I'm like, you know what, man, let me play so-and-so just because I want something different.
Right.
Like just having it at my fingertips just does something for me.
But you know what I'd never do that for? The casket match. Oh yeah, I know it's different, but it's still ass. Like,
dude, I'll tell you, I would trade that match if it meant that we can get buried alive.
Yeah,
I would take buried alive any day.
I agree. I think that even the casket can be saved. Like, make it to where we can move this casket around. You know what I mean? Like, let me be able to do some more environmental attacks from the casket. Let us be able to like climb the casket, slam them on the casket, and also like you can make the match fun. Like, but it's just
absolutely, dude. There's no reason why we can't grab the casket, rolling it around, hit them with it, and you got kind of like it's so many cool things we should be able to do
now. You have those physics in the game, dude.
Yes,
like the dumpster match. Like I like when they put the dumpster in, I was like, I know this is going to be a reskin of the casket, and that's all it's going to be. But man, do I hope that they allowed us to just roll that dumpster around the ring, just like you've seen with like Chainsaw Charlie and the New Age Outlaws back in the day, to where they were just like rolling it at each other or rolling it down the ramp and throwing it, and hitting people, and like you could have made that fun, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's just stuck in place, man, and that's kind of where it stays, man. Bobcat Lewis with the $2 says, will we be able to add renders to Alta tires? That's definitely something that we're waiting for in a patch. I don't know if that's going to happen though.
All right, so for that one, as far as I know, you can, as long as you're using, a data editor, such as Tribute, Disco Editor.
I think he was just talking about in game, not even modding. Okay. Yeah, like how like people are waiting for them renders, bro. Like,
yeah, dude, I've heard there's so many just random issues going on, like even on the console side. It's been interesting to watch. Yeah, I don't know, man. There are a lot of fixes, but I think the biggest issue that people are having now, I've heard that the server, I know that the match types came back because I went and ran the online matches to where you got the 8-man and 6-man matches back. They took those out for a while, for a second time. So this is twice that they took them out. And obviously they're taking them out because they're trying to fix the issues with them, with the lag and everything else, and people get the server. But it sounds like people are still lagging. I don't know. Every time I play, I have not had a laggy match yet on 2K. So, but that's I would say it's been, and I don't play online as much as I did, like my high school years. Man, I lived on SVR. Yeah, me too. But I haven't had like very laggy matches for the few that I've played the last couple games. Yeah, usually it's pretty smooth. Yeah, that's what I'm experiencing too. But once again, I'm not constantly in like 6-man and 8-man matches. I'll pop in there every once in a while when I get bored of just like doing a fatal 4-way or whatever. But usually I'm running with some friends, and I'll do like like a 5-man like battle royal. Sometimes we'll run like Royal Rumble, stuff like that. You know what I mean? And for the most part, though, it's fatal 4-ways, triple threats, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm never having issues, bro. Like we're never getting booted. But I'm also plugged directly into my router, and like I'm getting like the full internet speed that I have. So I don't know if that plays a factor, but I've definitely heard some issues like that. But I think the main issue that's plaguing the game right now is that face morphing tool, to where when you're moving sliders on a face morph, it reverts back to default every time from editing. Which is odd, man, because it's not like it's a fresh mechanic. It's something that they've had in forever.
Yeah, well, apparently they're working on it right now. They did just release a patch today. I haven't even downloaded it, but it was only addressing like a hot fix for my rise or something.
Yeah, I know it was the change log was very small. I was expecting a little bit, more in that one.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know what even I didn't even read the patch note. So James posted that shit on Twitter, so he covered all of that today. But yeah, I haven't read that. All I did read was that they're working on another patch that's going to release before season 3. So that's good. Hopefully they can get those main issues worked out, but I have no idea, man. Star with the $5 says move mod creator here. Making move mods as it makes me happy to make others happy. It's fantastic to create moves for characters not even in the game.
Oh, man, I love to hear that. Like I said, man, those guys, dude, they took that tool and again, they showed me things that's possible with that. It's called the animation editor. Deals with the animation definition files. Okay. And once you get into those definition files, man, there's so much. Like it's almost like you damn near have full control of what you can put in the game when it comes to animations.
My ass would be overwhelmed. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'll be having anxiety attacks. Like, bro, when I hop into like move editor just in creation suite, I'm like, this is gonna take 3 hours. I know it is. Just
man.
For my own car. Like I couldn't imagine, man. Like I said, salute to all of these mod creators. Like even like the people that don't mod the move sets, but the people that are just making those move sets, bro. I don't know how you do it, man. Like salute you. The people that are doing all the animations, like when it comes down to even entrances, entrances, move sets, like all that kind of stuff, bro. Like sculpting.
Yeah, dude. When it comes to the animations, I got war stories when it comes to that, man. Just the whole, process of because we had been working on that for a couple years, and I think each year we would show off previews when it was there. But man, like the people don't even know the dev process of it. This is kind of like what I've been trying to get people to understand a little bit more coming into this year, especially because I've taken on a bigger bulk of the dev process, and it's just dude, I remember, what we have the custom animation in, but I'm still trying to figure out, how to get, the character, I got the new, the portal entrance in from, let's say SVR or something like that.
Right.
But he's clipping through the stage, like the slope ramps and stuff like that. So I got to spend, dude, I think it was like 3 weeks just constantly tweaking code and figuring it out. Finally got that figured out. Then it was, coding something to give it that 60 FPS feel. So that way it matches, what we got, with at the time, 24, 25 or whatever. Man. There's just different layers, man, where there's some war stories for sure.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like it could not be me. I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't have I have patience for certain things, dude. Like video editing. I have a huge passion for video. And maybe I'm lying. Maybe I'm talking out my ass. Maybe I get on modding and then I learn the ropes and I'm like, yo, I have fun doing this. It's relaxing or whatever. You know what I mean? Maybe that changes. Because, like video editing and things like that, graphics design, all that stuff, I really love. It's a love-hate relationship for graphics design, but when it comes down to editing, I love it so much, dude. Like video editing is like when I become too old to talk about video games, I'm your man, dude. Like hire me as a video editor. Like that's what I'm gonna decide, you know what I mean? Because I enjoy it. So that's my end goal, I guess. You know what I mean? And honestly, I told James all the time, dude. I was like, man, like if I can get somebody else in front of the camera to do this kind of shit, I would. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's one of those, like, you want something done right, you got to do it yourself situations. You know what I mean? So,
absolutely.
Unfortunately, I had to get out of my comfort zone and get on the camera and start, talking this game so I could do some video editing and put some dope shit out there. But yeah, man, it couldn't be me doing these mods, bro. So
quick question. How was that adjustment period for you? Like when you first launched the YouTube and like putting yourself out there to the public like that?
So originally, obviously, like we started this podcast thing with just audio, right? Because I was a big fan of, still am a big fan of just like audio podcasts, right? Like listen to them at work, keeps me going. That's sort of my deal. But so we started the audio podcast, and eventually, you know, like it's one of those situations where it's like, if you don't get started on what's trending, then you get left behind, you know what I mean? And everything was going to video podcasts, video formats, everything like that. You know what I mean? Well, when I first started it, I didn't even have a camera, bro. Like I had like a Samsung like S22 Ultra phone that I had at first. And I was like, dude, I'm just going to record a video on this, record my audio, and then just sync the audio. You know what I mean? And learn to get
giving yourself a whole lot of work trying to do that syncing.
Bro, it was so it's actually not as hard as it sounds. Like now like AI kind of takes over for the synchronizing clips, you know, like so you can synchronize at least for Final Cut Pro, and that's what I rock with is Final Cut Pro for the most part. I was editing on like DaVinci, and then I like did a little bit of like Premiere, you know what I mean? So I think Final Cut Pro was like my sweet spot, bro. Like that I really like everything on Mac and the situation going on over there. So but yeah, it was a big change, bro. It was a big change for me. Like and
the reason I asked too is because I know like when we started, especially because I originally started at least the 2KM PWM stuff.
Yeah.
That was like what 2K18 or something like that.
Right.
But we were still, you know, pretty much a small bubble. We didn't have, you know, a Patreon or, you know, anything like that. But it was like, once I made that decision that I needed, because essentially, and I guess this is a good thing to talk on because you do have like a small group of people. I think you and Grix talked about it where, some people do complain, you know, about the, the $5 charge and, things like that. When I originally made the decision, it was more so, going through like my separation and, how the different elements where I was like literally taking the last out of my pocket to make sure server fees were paid and PWM was taken care of. But I would go through the week where, man, I couldn't even afford to, buy myself a bottle of water. And I'm out there doing installs, working 13-hour days and such. You know what I mean? So, I kind of lost so yeah, I got it. So the reason I asked you that is when I made that decision to start the Patreon and stuff like that, now I'm putting myself more at the forefront because, you start something, you're hoping, to gain more eyes, gain more attention, things like that. So you put yourself right at the forefront. And I was very uncomfortable with it. So back at that time, man, it was, Greg's Status, all of us was, all in the same collective.
Yeah.
And I remember we was all, us three was in a VC. And they asked me, they said, RipZz, what's your comfort level with, the newfound, like attention and, having to answer certain things? And I told him, I said, man, I don't like it. Because I'm a very private person, man. And like, I just want to do what I do. That's it. I don't care to, constantly getting tagged in posts and, people commenting on like things I've worked on. And they're like, oh, man, you're the GOAT. You're the GOAT. And I'm like, no, calm down, man. I'm just some guy, working on tools. It took a while for me to adjust.
So that is definitely an adjustment period for me, Ben. Is like, like people sending me super chats, like paying to get a question read to me is I don't know, wild to me, like that anybody would pay to hear my opinion on anything. You know what I mean? So, and that's kind of how I stand on it, bro, is like I've had this I ain't shit mentality for a long time. Like I'm a regular dude that works a normal job, like, and I'm on front of a camera and I'm blessed to, if you get any sort of entertainment out of what I do, trust me, like I love that. I'm happy that I could provide that in any form or fashion. But at the same time, dude, I'm just a regular guy. Like if somebody like made a big deal about it and happened to notice me out and I have been noticed in wrestling arenas and certain things like that, which is crazy to me. You know what I mean? And so when that happens, I try to be like as confrontable as possible and not make like this to be like, you're seeing a celebrity, because you ain't. You're seeing a dude just like you. You know what I mean? Like, you happen to click into a video, you seen me, like, that's great. And I'm so grateful for every click and comment and everything that we've done. You know what I mean? That and I like to think together, right? Because without anybody like clicking on these videos, and I ain't accomplished anything, you know what I mean, when it comes down to it. So I always tell, like, I had this conversation with my wife too. Like, she's like, what happens if like your channel like gets super big one day, and I was like, I would be the worst celebrity in human history. Like, like, I would be horrible, because I'm not that kind of person to where I would, for one, I'm very introverted. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, at my older age, I'm very introverted, which didn't used to be the case. I was like life of the party when I was younger, and having a great time and all that stuff. But yeah, man, it's crazy. It was definitely an adjustment, man. But this is actually a picture of my very first video.
Oh man.
You can see the quality. This is the first video that I did on 2K. Sorry, not the very first video, because we were doing video podcasts. But this, you can see, like, there's no blur background. There's no nothing, dude. Like, this is just like my phone camera.
Just screenshot.
Yeah, just like, there ain't nothing about it. Like, now I have like a, obviously a much better camera, much better setup. It's just, yeah. To think about like where we were a couple of years ago, I do believe that was like right before that was during the 2K23 season. And that was right before 24, or while it was getting made or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, it's crazy to think about, man. But it is a really big adjustment. You know what I mean? Especially like on X, you know what I mean? Like, having a presence on X is crazy to me, because I still like to talk my shit. You know what I mean? Like, and so when people like have reactions, like I said, I'd be the worst celebrity, bro, because I'm gonna come at you the same way, bro. Like, you're gonna get an answer that you don't like out of me sometimes, and that's just what it is, dude.
Yeah, no, trust me, I see some of them sometimes. Some people will come at your head and you clap right back at them.
Yeah. And I hate doing that now, dude. I'm trying to get better. Like, bless James's heart. I'm so thankful that I have two people running the social media. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to be on it all the time, because like I told James, like, man, like, I'm pretty sure I got anger issues. And he's like, what are you talking about? It's like, well, I can't help but like make these people look like fools sometimes. You know what I mean? And I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to be that kind of person.
X will do it to you sometimes, man. Yeah. There's a lot of time, some nights I'll just, I have nothing else to do. I'm just kind of scrolling through my phone, and dude, you will see a lot of stupid posts on X where it's just like, man, I want to call this out,
Yeah.
But then you got to start questioning yourself, like, man, do I really put that much energy into this,
Yeah, for sure. Hey, well, hold on a second, Mike. Sorry, the disrespect. I hate that I got blocked. You got blocked? Did I block you or who blocked you? I don't remember having like. Let me see here.
Hey, you might be under a different username or something.
Yeah, let me know, and then I'll let you know what you did. Like, let me know. That's where I'm kind of at now, to where it's like, instead of going at people, like James like kind of got in my ear and was like, dude, just block them and move on. You know what I mean? So that's sort of where I'm at now, as compared to before. I would never block anybody. Like, and that was the thing. It's like, nah, I'm cool with like open dialogue, open debate. Now it's just like, James is like, dude, just avoid it. You know what I mean? Like, just like, dude, I'm still kind of working towards that path that you at now. Because I'm still like the whole, open line of, communication. And don't get me wrong. Some people, you do want to leave the door cracked, again, life growth, all that stuff like that. I fully believe in that. But then you got a lot of people on social media where, like, dude, they're just negative. They just want to attack. And you got to know sometimes when to just hit the block button and wash your hands. Yeah. And some people do that, like, because it's that same thing that we were talking about earlier about like being a game dev, and then like content creators too. Like, content creators get like, I don't know. There's people that literally don't watch my channel at all, but they follow me on X because I'll release like news or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Like, it's weird to see like some of the comments like, oh, well, this dude's a shill. You know what I mean? Or this dude does this. because I've been invited to an event, you know what I mean? And those game devs will be the first to tell you that I ain't shilling for nobody. And you can ask Cornell that to his face, and he'll tell you that. There's probably a lot of things that people like Cornell or Brian Mazik have disagreed with that I've tweeted out. And if you don't follow my channel, or like you think I'm a shill, then you clearly don't watch the videos, dude, because I've tried to keep it 100% honest. At least I'm telling my truth, I guess, is what I should say. You know what I mean? Because I'm never going to also be like, you know, wishing death on people and some of the stuff that like this community does at times of extremities. You know what I mean? It's dude, great.
It can get very excessive. But, you know, one thing I did notice too, especially like hearing, you know, your experiences with like, you know, being called a shill and, you know, so, and I'm sure there's a long list of other things that was said similar to that. You know, going back 2 years where, you know, I had my sort of situation with 2K.
Let's talk about that first.
You know, long story short, I had reached out to Cornell. This is when he was at 2K. I think he was like the marketing manager or something along those lines.
Next maker guy, and he actually had a few same thing as now.
He's wearing a couple hats.
He's wearing a few hats. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I reached out to him and I was just like, you know what, man? Like, man, I've been trying to build this bridge forever. Let me see if I can, you know, just see what the feeling is when it comes to PWM mods, so on and so forth. I just want to come out to the play events, and I'm not going to go out there to step on any toes. I'll check out the game, be quiet. But if anybody happens to know who I am, or somebody tells them, hey, you know, that's RipZz that did such and such or something, and they want to, you know, ask me certain questions, feedback, or whatever the case is, I'm happy with anything. So I reached out to him, and you know, immediately he told me, he was like, you know, hey man, I definitely think there's a conversation we can have. Let's set up a Zoom call. Okay, cool. Now you probably noticed because you in contact with you know, quite a few people on the team. Cornell, man, I love him to death, but his communication is something else, man.
He's the worst at replying to DMs. I know that.
Yes. So he shoots me the DM and he's like, you know, hey man, you know, let's do the Zoom call. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm figuring this is standard, you know, anybody that reaches out, you know, about Next Maker or whatever. So now at this point, he didn't tell me a day, he didn't tell me a time, anything like that. So I think about a week went past or something like that. Now I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, well, you know, maybe he's reneging. He don't want to do it anymore. It's all kind of things going through my head. So I reached back out to him. I said, you know, hey bro, just wanted to make sure, you know, are we still on? Oh yeah. No, you know, we're still on, and you know, let's shoot for Wednesday. So I'm like, okay, cool. I got a date now. Still don't have a time at this point. So Wednesday comes, dude. I woke up at like 5, 6 in the morning. And I'm sitting there, dude. I'm sweating bullets. I'm, you know, nerves is through the roof. And I'm sitting back. I'm like, okay. At some point, he's gonna let me know, like, you know, whether he's gonna tell me a time or I'm gonna get that, you know, that email from Zoom or Google Meets or whatever to let me know what the scheduled time is. 6 o'clock came, 7, 8, 9. It was like, dude, we got up until I think it was like 10:15 a.m. He shoots me a random DM and he goes, hey man, you think you can hop on a call in 10 minutes? Bro, come on, man. Now, luckily, you know, I stayed free the entire day. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make sure I got absolutely no plans. I'm not missing this. So I hit him back. I'm like, bro, no problem. I'll be there. So I get on the call and he was like, you know, hey man, you know, I know you contacted me about, you know, Next Maker. And if that's what you want to do, I'm 100% down. But, you know, I had this idea. Let me know what you think. You know, I spoke to, you know, Lionel and a couple people behind the scenes where I pretty much got the green light. And, you know, we want to bring you into the kitchen to help us cook for 25. You know, we've seen everything from like, you know, your big gold championship belt and the long list of belts you did and stuff like that. We can use that, you know, pretty much in the kitchen. And I was pretty much all for it. Like I told him, I said, dude, this is one of those things like you've been playing the game since literally as a preteen and you just want to check that box.
Yeah, that's
and I said, dude, 100%. I don't even, honestly, I don't really care what the dollar amount would be for a situation like that. Not saying I'd do it for free, but you understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we had a super dope conversation, man. Pretty much left me off with it'd be like 85-90%. It was an 85-90% done type of deal. He just had to kind of get back with the others, figure out placement, things like that, then try to figure out the dollar amount that they wanted to offer for me to take a look at. We haggle that out, or if there was going to even be a haggle, and get the deal done. Now, the cool thing about it was, and I wanted to bring this up too when we were talking about Battle Pass. Okay. I feel like the initial concept for Battle Pass was supposed to involve that situation. Now, for whatever reason, it fell through. Again, I think a month and a half, 2 months after me and Cornell had that talk, he got fired from 2K, unfortunately.
Right.
And it seemed like, and I think it was like management overhaul, all kinds of stuff where whoever came in after that, they did not like modders whatsoever. They said absolutely not. It nixed everything.
Shout out to Status.
Yeah, Status is your fault.
Yeah. Boy out here like cooking Persona cards on community creations.
Nah, I tease Status whenever I talk to him. I'm like, man, they don't like you, right? Even though you got that one invite, they don't like you, bro.
That was like his one payoff for banning him, dude.
Yep, exactly.
I was like, damn. I was like, what do you mean Status ain't coming this year? That sucks.
Oh, yeah. So, like with the Battle Pass, man, I think the original concept, just knowing the conversation me and Cornell had, where he was trying to set up from what I heard, it's a 5M type of situation. I'm not too familiar with what goes on that side. But what he wanted to do was, I was going to be brought in, to the actual dev process. He also wanted me to play point man where, he was gonna have some discussion and see if there was a way I can continue doing what I'm doing with PWM. They can promote certain things, and I will play point man to where he can get like characters from Joe, arenas from Matt, possibly other people and things like that. And I was pretty sure at that point, because I told people, I said, I think they're gearing up for like a live service or a battle pass where he's trying to line up, the levels of content that they can put out, because he knows that if he deals with the modern side of things, that's something they don't have to concern themselves about when they're developing the next game.
Right.
And again, overhauls and stuff like that, it seems like the whole thing fell through. And then you get like the corporate watered down version of what the battle pass is. But right. Dude, I think about it so much. I'm like, damn, man, like if that situation went through the way that we discussed it, I think the battle pass would have been so much more better received, getting that amount of content out of that, man. It's crazy to think about.
It's unfortunate, man, because there are some talented. I mean, we've been talking about it all show. Is that there's so many talented people in this community that could really help the games out. At the end of the day, like had they been, whether they're mod friendly or not, like these people know how to sculpt. These people know how to like make championships top notch. They know how to make arenas top notch. Then you know what I mean? Like they know how to do this stuff, So I don't know, man. I really wish like something would have worked out for you in that sense, because I feel like they could have really used you on the team. Like the community could have really used you on the team, But once again, I don't work for 2K. I don't work for Visual Concepts. I know nothing about game development, so I don't really have a dog in this fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. It's one of those things, man. It's hard to understand why like where they don't see the value to a point where it's like, hey, man, we need to jump on this and monetize this in some kind of way, like similar to one of the super chats that had popped up when he talked about them selling a tool for mods or whatever, what have you. Dude, even if they had some type of service where it was like, I don't know, you pay $30 extra and that enables that you'll be able to download modded characters and custom theme music and so on and so. Dude, that would sell so much more, and the reception would be so much better than $30 for a Bad Bunny Persona card or something like that.
Yeah, facts, dude. I would pay that in a heartbeat, like twice. Like, let me
get man. It's
on Xbox and PlayStation.
It's insane. It's insane. Like I do every day. I wish that they would get and again, I don't mean this as I want somebody to lose their job or anything like that. Yeah. But I wish they would have somebody in that position, or at least somebody that's already there, do their homework on the modding communities of not just the possibilities here, but take a look at the stuff that's already established.
Right.
Look at Starfield and Skyrim. Skyrim's what, 12, 15 years or something like that, man.
GTA.
Yeah, GTA. Like it's so profitable if you decide to put the resources behind it. Yeah. And the crazy thing is technically speaking, man, they wouldn't even have to really put too much backing behind it. Even if they said, you know what, at minimum, we'll give you enough documentation just to make sure that everything runs smoothly, so that way we can go ahead and offer it on an official basis on like console or something like that. Give us a documentation. We'll take it the rest of the way. Look at what we're doing without any kind of information. Right. You know what I mean? Like this is so much, man.
I think that would, and here's how I think that, or here's how I believe that will never happen. And that is just due to the licensing that WWE has. You know what I mean? And I think that that's what it comes down to, man, is like, hey, we want to keep this license. We want to keep making these games, but we have to play by these rules to where we're not allowing players to make Rey Mysterio without a mask. We're not allowing hit his mask and make all these characters from AEW to be put in our WWE game. That's where they're going to draw the line of like, hey, like WWE 2K is not going to offer a modding tool so you can put the competition in the game. You know what I'm saying? So like, I mean, could there be, once again, this is just me asking a question because I honestly don't know shit about any of this, but could there be a situation to where they had content blocked from being downloaded from a modding tool, like such as like AEW stuff, you know what I mean? Or, certain content that is not allowed to pass the firewall, so to speak.
See, and I would think they would be able to do something like that, kind of similar to say our community creations where certain things get blocked. Just have somebody that plays I guess moderator on the uploads. So say for instance, we have our own set of things that we use to create the mods and things like that. They could have a system where it's almost like a mod uploader, like image uploader. Yeah. And they have somebody that watches everything. If it's something that they know they cannot have on a server, okay, we'll decline that. If it's something WWE where they know it's not going to cause any issues, okay, we can pass that along. They can kind of curate, what's being put up there. But, again, that's kind of down to, I guess, resources and, who wants to put that effort in.
And to me, that takes all the fun out of it because I am the guy that wants to bring in the mod content like AEW and stuff like that. Like I do, like we don't got an AEW game, you know what I mean? Like except for Fight Forever. So it's like I want like that realistic, hyper realistic, like Kenny Omega call. I want that hyper realistic Darby Allin call. FTR, Young Bucks, you name it. You know what I mean? Like that. I'm the type of person that's going to be putting that in the game. You know what I mean? So it would kind of suck to have that limitation, but. Yes, could they like tap into the modding community in some form or fashion to where, hey, we can offer them certain tools to where they're allowed to do different turnbuckle styles, you know what I mean? Or anything, you know what I mean? At that point.
And to be honest with you, man, some of the things I've seen, like even with, Starfield would be like the perfect example. Like when they first started it before it was officially supported, there was limitations to it. And the devs would still, show it off and, things like that. But even with the limitations, it excited people so much. So, say for instance, man, if it even started out to where, let's just take like the belts I make, for instance, right? If users can say on your PS5, you can go on there and download, my big goal is actually the WCW style, full with the details and
so they have the
color and shine and all that stuff like that. That one download is going to excite somebody so much that they're going to enjoy their game more.
Hell
Same
yeah.
thing with, a character. Let's take like one of Joe's mods or Bia or who, anybody else out there. Stacy, plenty of them.
Right.
Where, let's just say like a Liv Morgan, for instance. You get one of their mods in there and just seeing like the details pop even more.
Yep.
They have like the diamonds encrusted in their attire and down to every single detail. And it's just like that one piece of mod, that one piece of material just elevated your game that much more. It didn't make that much of a change, but the possibility of it happening, or more so the reality of it happening, just hyped the fan base up. Like there's just so much that I feel like if they just gave us even just some breadcrumbs to work with, it'd give them enough. It'd give them enough of a sample size, pretty much to say, you know what? Let's open it up a little bit more. We cracked the door open. Let's creak it open just a little bit more. Okay, that was successful too. Let's open it up a little bit more to the point where there's a full bridge there. But somebody has to be willing to actually do that first,
Right. And then it also has to come down to the modding community, not saying, oh, well, let's take these Persona cards and checkbox.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or, you know what I mean? Like certain things like that, like that's at the end of the day, that's what's preventing anything like being modding friendly. Like let's be real for a minute. You know what I mean? Like it's all about the monetization coming down from Take-Two to 2K to visual concept. So with this game having microtransactions, that's going to be the mind that.
Yeah, dude, I'll tell you something funny, man. So PC side, this year they got they implemented de novo. I'm sure you've heard plenty about de novo.
I have. I didn't know anything about any of this until like Grix taught me a whole bunch of stuff about modding. Okay. He's like, he's hyping me up, man, to get on board. You know what I mean? So he was letting me know about the blocks and everything.
Yeah, man. Even when it comes to like say like them implementing de novo, I told a lot of people probably the past like from 24 to 25, I kept kind of regurgitating the same thing where it was like, listen, man, because I think Island was it was introduced 25, right?
Last year, yep.
Okay. So yeah, 25. I told people, I said, listen, man, because everybody kept saying, oh, why don't we have Island on PC? That sucks, and we're being left out. And I said, look, the last thing you should want is Island being added to PC, because I can guarantee you that the anti-cheat, the anti-tamper, all that stuff is going to be ramped up times 1,000.
Yep.
And because at the end of the day, you got to think about all the content that's going to be locked in that mode. They got to protect that stuff, and I get it. So I said, me personally, I hope the Island never touches PC. They make it easy on us, man. And sure enough, we get it. We get de novo and all that stuff, and it's been interesting. It's been an interesting dev process, man, because I'll find like little bits and pieces, and it's kind of spread out. Where I'm looking at this area, I'm looking at that area, and I'm like, okay, why the hell did they put this behind de novo? It's just random pieces, man. But to me, it seems like maybe a couple people on the team or whoever's responsible for like actually like installing de novo to the game, because from what I heard, it's not like the actual team that develops the game itself, like the core game. That's another department. Somebody got pretty excited with the implementation, where they were just like, you know what, man, we got this. Let's toss this in. Let's toss that in. Hell, let's toss all this in here too. Things that don't even make sense for being behind it has been behind it, man. It's been interesting to see.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Yeah, it's as soon as I heard that PC was coming to the island, I immediately knew like, hey, listen, like Community Creations is cooked for one. Like for anybody like being connected with PC at all, not happening. And then I also knew that more, and that was like on the inside too. Like I actually knew, and I didn't report on it because I'd been told not to, but I knew that there were more like mod blocks coming, you know what I mean? And what was coming for 2K26. And that's due to Battle Pass and also due to what they're doing in my faction this year, you know what I mean? So,
oh yeah,
and more stuff to come in the island that I have no idea. You know, like we could be getting some major things for the island. I don't know. We're only in season 1 of the island, and I haven't even cracked that open yet. You know what I mean? Like I've had no time.
Man, dude, I tried. I was so lost trying to figure out what to do. I'm like, dude, I spent like an hour just kind of running around, and I'm like, okay, like. Do I just walk up and find a match? Like what the heck do I do here, man?
Injury taunt where you turn around. Yeah, bro. Like I only went into the island. I've been in the island already, but I haven't really played anything. We played a little bit of it at the Creator Fest, but all I've really done this year was create my character for the island for when I'm ready to just like hop in and start playing that story. And basically buy like call parts, you know, like whatever's locked to like a call that I wanted to get, right?
Yeah.
Like Swerve. Kahlua like made this swerve that was like out of this world. I was like, I am purchasing that hair. I don't care. Like that looks amazing. You know what I mean? Like, so Swerve's my dude for anybody who didn't know, man. Like Swerve is like Pacific Northwest boy, you know what I mean? I'm over here in the Pacific.
Dude, it's been with Swerve, it's been interesting. Well, it's been awesome watching his elevation, dude.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. So he used to wrestle at a hometown promotion in Seattle. Well, Tacoma, depends on how you look at it. Defy Wrestling was his home before, you know, going out to AEW or WWE actually was who picked him up first. But he was our champion. Same with Leo Rush. You know what I mean? Leo Rush was one of our guys too. And obviously, you know, don't need to mention this, but Bryan Danielson, you know, greatest wrestler in the world to me, one of our guys, you know what I mean? So seeing Swerve do what he's doing now is just, it's incredible, bro. Like he's had some of my favorite matches in AEW, you know, since he's been in AEW. And I know like that's for like the sickos, right? Like some of the stuff that he does, but
now, dude, I'll say this. He's one guy, because outside of I'm gonna say the first 2, maybe 3 years of AEW, those first like 2.5, 3 years, dude, I was a diehard. Absolutely loved it. Like the presentation, everything was perfect. Yeah. You know, they kind of went through their span. I feel like maybe midway through the 3rd year or so, they kind of shifted what they were doing, almost like a WWE like for a little bit. Now, from what I've heard, they've gotten a lot better recently.
That's what I'm hearing too. I haven't been able to tune into as much wrestling as I'd like, but I hear it's getting better, dude. Conrad,
dude, I've heard so many good things about it, and I'm actually excited to tune back in, especially because you know, New Day is going. You know they're going to show up.
I'm going to be watching for that for sure. Like,
yeah.
And I'm sure it's going to happen at Double or Nothing. I have a feeling it's going to happen at Double or Nothing. We'll see, but. Or maybe they have like a 90-day. I don't know if they have like the 90-day thing going on, but
yeah, I mean, I hope they let those guys, you know, out of their deals pretty early. Just, you know, reading the situation and 50% pay cuts and all that stuff like that. Sometimes you just got to do what's right. You know, they want to leave, cut ties, let them prosper somewhere else.
Yeah.
But dude, like Swerve, I remember I hadn't tuned in a while, and I purchased one of the pay-per-views. Is when I think he won the title from Danielson. And watching that match was absolutely insane. Like, and I'm just talking about just Swerve, like his entire presentation. Because you know, my first exposure of him was, I mean, I seen little clips from, you know, when he was at Defy and things like that, but it was NXT. And then, you know, when he got called up to the main roster, I was more so like, you know, I've heard he's dope, but whatever. And then seeing like that elevation in AEW and then that match with Danielson, I'm like, holy crap, dude. Like, this dude is amazing.
Yeah, he's great. He's fantastic, bro.
Absolutely insane.
The trilogy match that he's had with Hangman, Adam Page, man, like I just keep going back to that, and I'm like, dude,
the story those guys had, you know, the burning of the house and all that stuff. I told somebody a long time ago, I said, yo, that right there is probably the best story AEW has told in years.
Yeah.
Like the continuity, it was just amazing, man.
Facts. Yeah, I agree, dude. That was one of my favorite stories of that year, was everything that was going on with Adam Hangman Page. And it was like a blood feud. You actually felt like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's the first blood feud that you felt in a long time, besides like, I want to say Moxley and Danielson had like a pretty good build too. And I got to watch Danielson's last match, you know what I mean, at Wrestle Dream a couple years ago. And for as many people like that hated that ending, you know what I mean? Like Danielson just losing the title and getting choked out and bag over his head and all that stuff. Like, bro, I thought it was like poetic, just knowing like who Bryan Danielson is as a wrestler and what he loves about pro wrestling. Like, that was poetic for him to go out. Everybody was leaving that arena at the Tacoma Dome completely pissed except for me. I was like, yo, I just got to witness Bryan Danielson's last match and him go out the way that he wanted to go out, bro. Like, yes. I'm not mad at this at all, dude. Like,
dude, when I seen the I can't remember if I ordered that or if I seen the clips, but you know, I remember on Twitter, everybody was pissed. Yeah, they were pissed, and I loved it. I'm watching it and I'm like, oh no, this is good. And you know, again, like you said, knowing Danielson, you know, for the fact that, you know, he spent so much time in WWE, and, you know, Vince would have never signed off on something like that. Never. And him being able to do such a insane finish like that, man, I loved it. I loved it.
I mean, I've got to see Bryan Danielson a bunch live, right? Obviously, like, he's from my area. So I've watched, I grew up watching this guy, even when he was in ROH and all that other stuff, you know what I mean? But he was also wrestling in places like Defy, you know? So like to see what he's done with his career from like WWE to like going to AEW and seeing him have like a match with Zack Sabre Jr. live, you know what I mean? Like, to see that match, that would, for the normal like WWE wrestling fan, it would be like the most boring match that you'd ever see. But for somebody who is like a hardcore wrestling fan, it was like a technical masterpiece watching this match, you know what I mean, in person. So, and maybe it just was better in person, and on TV it just didn't resonate. But getting to see stuff like that, and then seeing him like wrestle Kenny Omega in that 1 hour, you know, fight, and the stuff he did with Paige, and you know, it's so many good classic matches we got out of Bryan Danielson towards the end, dude. Like, I'm not mad at it.
Oh yeah,
not mad at it. So. It was.
That's one thing I did notice too, man. It seems like a lot of matches go over better in when you're there in person.
Oh, absolutely.
And I guess, you know, maybe with TV, like you also react to, like, you know, the crowd and the noise that's going on there. But when you're there in person, you're dialed into the action, man. It's next level. Because I remember I went to the Rumble in Indianapolis, and they did the tag match with Motor City Machine Guns. I forgot who else was in that match. Well, anyways, dude, the match was amazing. Yeah, absolutely amazing. And you know, when I went back home and I rewatched the event, and I'm hearing, like, you know, when I was in person, when I was there in person, the acoustics sounded amazing to me. You know, everybody was a lot more into the match than how it came off on TV. So now me going back and I'm watching it on TV, I'm not even as into it as I was when I was there in person, man. It's just two totally different, I guess, presentations, man.
Right. And that's how it is too, man. Like, I go back to like looking at like even a WWE experience, you know what I mean? Like, nothing beats being there live, in my opinion. Like, and that's just coming from like a diehard pro wrestling fan. Like, even though I'm not watching it like any pro wrestling that much across the board today, like I'll you know, turn on Raw, catch the first few segments. I'll watch all the PLEs. I'll watch the AEW pay-per-views. But weekly television has like lost it for me, because I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the storytelling is just not there. It's not as much drama as, you know, like what it was. Nothing's forcing me to stay here on a Monday night and watch this Monday Night Raw. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like I can catch everything that I need to on Twitter.
Yes.
Storyline wise. And then I'll catch the PLE. You know what I mean?
Man, dude, I've been there. I've been at that point since about September. So I flew back up to New York and I went to SummerSlam both nights.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. The event was absolutely awesome. Like you said, going to those events is an experience in itself. Absolutely loved it. Yeah. But when I came back from it, man, I kept trying to, I was talking to my brother about it. I'm like, man, I don't know if it's wrestling fatigue, but I just have not been watching the weeklies.
Yeah.
I just have no interest. Like, I'll scroll through Twitter, I'll catch a couple clips. It keeps me up to date.
Yeah.
But I'm good with that. Every now and again, I'll tune in here and there, but man, I just can't do it.
Yesterday, bro. Brock showing up. That was it, right? That was on a clip.
Yeah.
Seen it. Cool. You know what I mean? Like, I know where we're at now. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty much it. Like, I did watch the Finn Balor and like JD match. I did watch that and I enjoyed that. So that was cool. But yeah, dude, nothing beats a live experience, man. That's just where it is. Like, like I tell people all the time, like, I've been to WrestleMania 19. One of my favorite WrestleManias, if not the best WrestleMania in my opinion. I know a lot of people point to 17, but 19 was my GOAT. And I went to WrestleMania 24. So, and then I've also went to, undercards like No Way Out 2008 and No Mercy 2009, where you got Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho. And in my opinion, one of the best ladder matches that I've ever seen, and Chris Jericho's personal favorite ladder match that he's ever been in. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, like, and I got to witness that live, you know what I mean? And when you turn back and you watch it on television, might not resonate as much, but maybe it does. I don't know. I haven't watched it back in many years. So, but being there live, I was like, dude, this ladder match is cooking. You know what I mean? Dude, I love it. So
yeah, getting to see a match of like that magnitude live is something, man.
Fun.
That's one of the things. Like when I've gone to like the recent events, I try to soak it in a little bit more. Where for instance, like I've been a huge supporter of Cody. Even when like when they started AEW and stuff like that. Before that, when he was on the Indies, and so on and so forth. And I remember being at SummerSlam and they did the whole intro with Dusty talking and stuff like that. And I'm just soaking it in, man. It was just
that was the one you were at.
Special moment being able to see that stuff.
So that was the SummerSlam that you were at then.
Yeah.
When he did the Dusty. Okay, yeah, that was awesome. I really love that intro. So yeah, it's stuff like that, dude. Like WWE, what they're if it's one thing they're good at, it's creating moments. You know what I mean? Like I think that's their specialty, right? Like that's what they're all about. Like, let's create one moment out of this entire 5-hour show or 4-hour show or whatever we're doing. Like the rest of the card you won't remember, but we'll create this one moment. They didn't use it like that. You know what I mean? Like I said, I went to WrestleMania 19. I seen a whole match card full of awesome banger matches, dude. Like, so, you think back to like the original Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho. You think back to like Vince McMahon versus Hogan, 20 years in the making, was an amazing match. Brock versus Kurt Angle in the main event where Brock almost friggin' killed himself. You know what I mean? Like there's just a lot of moments in between that were just incredible, dude. But there was, that's wrestling, bro.
You caught it at a good era though, man. Those particular manias, because dude, I was actually debating going to Mania this year just because it's always been like a huge dream for me and my brother. We want to go out and do like the whole Mania experience, the whole weekend. You got Hall of Fame, all that stuff.
Hopefully they lower the price for you.
Yes, dude. Because man, I started looking at the prices, so I'm like, okay. For one, we got to fly to Vegas. All right, I was able to find it. I think it was like 2 nights. It was like floor seats behind the announcers table.
Yeah.
Now at first when I looked at it, it was like 10 grand. So I'm like, man, I don't know. So I waited a couple weeks. I looked at it again, and this time I looked at the hotel packages with it as well. I ended up finding it like almost like $3,500 cheaper or something like that. So now I'm really debating it. So I'm like, I really, because I don't know how much you follow, but this year, dude, we didn't even know the Mania card.
Yeah,
leading up to the event was maybe.
I'm very, very up to date with it. I just don't like I'll even attempt putting it on the TV. You know what I mean? And it'll just kind of be background noise for when I'm hanging out with the wife or whatever. Walking around on a Monday night. But SmackDown, I won't watch. Like I just can't get through SmackDown. And Friday is just a rough day for me to watch wrestling. But yeah, dude, their builds suck. The storytelling. There's nothing captivating about pro wrestling in general right now for me personally. So
It's that right there, man. And I think the biggest thing that kills me is that and this is just WWE, because again, I've heard AEW's been a bit better lately, but for WWE to go from that year of Mania with the final boss and like that whole like insane like pivot and build and stuff, dude, that was cinema. And then the next couple of Manias, we get nothing close to that. It's such a huge letdown, man. Yeah. Such a huge letdown.
I think The Rock is got to be up there with like one of the greatest personalities of all time, if not the greatest personality of all time, just because of like just the vibe around him, right? Like when he came back and that whole situation where we were just like, yeah, we want Rock versus Roman, but we don't want it over Rock or versus Roman over Cody. Cody needs to get the title, because our whole thing, like for the fans, was like, dude, this match between you and Roman does not need to have the title on the line. Like, you guys can do your tribal chief crap without that title on the line. Give this man his gold. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so we sacrificed that and ended up getting the greatest heel turn, or the greatest heel version of The Rock that we've ever gotten. You know what I mean? And so,
dude, that character was next level.
Yeah, it was incredible, dude. I really enjoyed that. And yeah, I don't think anything can live up to that. You know what I mean? And that's is what it is. I think they were trying to make something happen with like Cody. Like, I think that was the whole reason why, The Rock bounced and dipped out, is because he offered, Cody to turn heel. Triple H said, "Nah, Cena will do it." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then it was horrible.
I think for Triple H it's kind of like with Vince, man, where Cody's essentially Triple H's Hulk Hogan. Yeah. Where if you think back to before Hogan went to WCW, they would never even think about turning Hogan heel.
Oh no.
That was just out of the equation. It wasn't until he got to, WCW, NWO, it was like, you know what? What's the best way we can shock the fans? Let's turn Hogan. And you seen the reaction, man, the trash being thrown. And
yeah, dude, I was little then, man. Like, I was like, I remember my brother showing me that on TV. Because I grew up a Hulkamaniac, bro. Like, that was my dude,
Yeah,
like,
same.
Was what got me into pro wrestling. You know what I mean? I still believe to this day that like pro wrestling wouldn't be pro wrestling without Hulk Hogan. And I love or hate the man for what he did in his life, or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? But I think we are where we are because of him. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's what I grew up on. So when I watched that heel turn, I don't think anything would ever top that heel turn, because it felt it was the biggest. I don't know how it would have felt as an adult, because I was pretty young, but when it happened, I was heartbroken, dude. I was like, yo, this motherfucker just turned on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's how it felt. It wasn't like, yo, he did this for television. Like, no, this fool turned his back on my childhood, dude. You know?
Yes. Dude, listen, man, I was that, that little 3-year-old, because I was born in 90. So I had a grandmother that was a huge wrestling fan growing up. Yeah. Not so much now, but, she was huge on Jimmy Snuka.
Yep.
Hulk Hogan. So I remember being 3-4 years old screaming Hulk Hogan, and you make that massive turn, man. I was hurt for a while, and then I had to adapt. Now I was a huge Hollywood Hogan fan.
Me too.
I love that character.
Yeah, dude. It was great, dude. Like, and then I got introduced to what I thought was probably the greatest build in pro wrestling until they ruined it, which was the Sting versus Hogan gimmick for Starrcade. You know what I mean? Like, it was probably the greatest build to a match that I've ever seen. And then, the match and then the bell rang, you know what I mean? But it, it's hard to argue that was probably one of the greatest builds to a match, and shout out to like Brad Thompson, you know what I mean? For that podcast with him, like, calling Eric Bischoff out for it. You know what I mean? Like, you fucked to finish the Starrcade over 10, brother. Is this real? Like, one of the greatest clips in podcast history, by the way, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, just him cussing Eric Bischoff out for screwing this matchup, but classic, dude. Yeah. But hey, man, listen, dude, it's been a great time, dude. This is long overdue, man. Like, we've
absolutely
known each other for a couple years now. I don't know why you haven't been on this show. We've got to make it happen again. We got to.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm gonna be in your ear once I get this PC up and running, brother.
Nah, man. Whenever you're ready, let me know. I'll walk you through. Even if it's down to just trying to figure out what PC build to get and stuff like that, dude. I got a million people that hit me up for it. I can get you there.
I trust you guys, man. I trust you guys are rocking the damn thing, man. You guys are doing fantastic work. Some of my favorite follows, by the way. Like I know I mentioned that earlier, but definitely my favorite follows on X, because obviously I have a passion for these games, dude. I love the 2K games, as much as we get frustrated with these games and wrestling games are my jam, bro. Like they'll always be my number one go-to. And to see like them being pushed to the limits, best follow in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like I love seeing like the creativity that people do, and always jealous when I see, something like these awesome, gorgeous titles that you make and all the custom Titantrons, AEW mod forever.
Yeah, man. It's
AEW. You know what I mean? Like there's so many great things. Greg Stude and all of his AEW stuff and his ROH stuff, Joe.
Dude, it's insane when you think about it, like how widespread the content level is and how much things are covered.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of everything, man. It's absolutely insane.
It's a beautiful thing, man. It really is, dude. And like, whether the developers of 2K like it, I think they secretly enjoy, like, even if they don't like, I don't know that for sure, but like, even if they don't like, the whole mod situation and what it could mean for their monetization, they have to at least appreciate what goes on within the modding community and seeing what people are doing to push this game to the limits and some of the blood. It has to give them ideas. Obviously, they steal some of it each year. You know what I mean?
That's what I was going to say. Griggs had brought it up before.
Yeah.
There's quite a few elements where they were like, we created something. All of a sudden, it shows up in the game. And personally, I think it's dope. I think, don't get me wrong. It kind of sucks where, like, I guess because of maybe WWE or whatever the dynamics are, they can't, shout us out or give us, some type of, credit or kudos or something like that. But I get it. But to me, it's so dope. Like with the third person entrance thing, rotate the camera and all that stuff. That was something that we were doing, not to that extent. We had a full free cam mod where, like, literally during the entrance, you can go anywhere in the arena and just move the camera wherever you wanted. And so seeing that fleshed out the way that they did on like an official basis, I thought that was so dope, man.
Well, thumbtacks have been modded in before they got it in. I can name a whole bunch of stuff, bro. Light tubes were in the game back in like 2K19. Even the war games. I remember people making war games in like 2K19, bro. So
man.
This has all been, there is some influence within the modding community, whether they want to admit it or not. And it's a beautiful thing. Bro. Like it's good when everybody comes together, and I think that the community wins because of it. But Rips, man, let everybody know where they can find you, brother.
All right. So, Patreon, if you guys want to, support the tools, I don't think I got into it a good bit. It's patreon.com/PWMods. It's $5 one charge. Now, just to give a quick explanation.
Sorry to interrupt you. Send me that link, by the way, on X or something, so I can plug it into the description of this pod too.
Will do. I got you. It's a one-time charge. You get the tools. You all set. One thing that I did change coming into this year is, like if you are using whether it's Tribute, Disco Editor, you need something to like bake your files. The baking is free. I wanted to make sure that was open for everybody. It's more advanced features I've worked on where that's like the premium tier and such. You can, support goes to the dev process, opening up, more time to continue to do what we do and things like that. But like I said, it's one-time charge. We don't try to penny pinch or, anything like that. But also the amount of things that come out with this stuff, from whether it's like, Joe's Mods, Max Arenas, Call Life throws stuff up there. I do my belts. All that stuff is all under that $5 package. So there's a lot of bang for your buck for the people that were questionable about it, man.
You get a lot more than them Persona cards, I'll tell you that.
Yes, you get way more than just Bad Bunny. All right,
Worth the $5, guys. Go and support the modding community, man.
Absolutely. And man, let me know whenever you're ready. We'll get that process started, and man, we'll get you cooking, man.
Let's go, man.
I think you'll absolutely love it.
I already know I will love it, dude. It's going to change my whole experience from WWE 2K, just with something as simple as a modded arena, brother, and championship titles. That'll go a long way.
Oh yeah, dude, man. How can I say it? So like when you download an arena off of say like Creation Suite, they be pretty dope. But then now just imagine like those parts that they have to take a screenshot on, put on like the big jumbo screen and kind of simulate it.
Yeah.
Having the actual 3D parts and custom lighting, and the lights are sequenced and all kinds of, dude, it's a different feel, man. I think like once you experience it,
legit.
Oh man, you're never gonna turn back.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, dude, I appreciate you for coming on here, RipZz, man. I appreciate everything you do. I appreciate everybody in the community that does what you do. AEW Mod Forever, Grix. We got one more. Hold up. With the $5 good chat, boys. Make sure you compliment RipZz's cake installer.
What he's talking about? I coded a tool that streamlined the installation of the main tools. And Galgus, man, he loves just reinstalling everything 20 times a day just because of how easy it made the process for him. So
that's good, man.
He's a trip, man. You mind if I leave the community off with something?
Yeah, real quick? Absolutely.
I just wanted to tell anybody that's watching and things like that. I greatly appreciate you guys' support. I know I'm not very I guess other than like when I'm talking sports and things like that. Otherwise, like personally, I try to dial back a little bit. But I greatly appreciate the support that everybody has given through the years. Like I mentioned, maybe an hour and a half ago, when I started this stuff, it was, being in a situation where I just wanted to make sure, this place was self-sustainable and would survive no matter what I was going through in my personal life. And just seeing the amount of support that I've gotten through it, where it's not only self-sustainable, but it allows me to free up time to work on this stuff and things like that, man. I'm forever in debt. And that's why I continue to go on. And the members know, because they tell me all the time, dude, RipZz, get rest, go to sleep, watch TV. And I never stop because I just feel like I owe you guys so much for your support. So even though it's, $5, I want to make sure that that's the best $5 you spent, man. So we're going to do 20 tools and, 50 million characters and arenas and all that stuff, whatever I can do to get you guys the most that you can get out of supporting us. I'm always going to push for that, man. I just want to say thank you guys.
Hell yeah, brother. That's worth the $5 to me, man. I appreciate all the hard work that you guys put in, man. Hey, listen, man, we're going to do it again. We got to get you on here. We got to make this a more of a regular thing, dude. I'm glad that like some of the modding community is now coming on board, coming onto the show, speaking your guys' piece and getting your voices heard outside of the X community, right? Like, because
absolutely,
you guys deserve to be here over here on YouTube and letting people know what's up anyway. Even though I feel like the modding community has grown so much because I'm seeing so many clips everywhere: Facebook, Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube, and they're
the past couple years starting from 22 on up to now, it's just constantly grown. I get so many people that still to this day, as a new game is coming out, hey man, I've decided I'm leaving. Well, not leaving console, but for this game, I'm buying a gaming PC. What PC should I get? How do I get started? Can you give me some tutorials? Every year, so many people switching over, man. It's been insane. Just seeing the growth of all the
it's
stuff.
A beautiful thing, man. I remember as soon as the Steam machine was announced, I was like, yo, I hit up Grix immediately as soon as I seen this trailer reveal for the Steam machine. I was like, hey, can I mod on this? And he's like, yes, you can.
Yes.
Like, let's go. From my TV? And he's like, yep. And I was like, let's go.
Yes, bro. Dude, we got these things to a point that whether it's the Steam machine, the Steam Deck, If you got like the ROG Ally X, Legion Go, it works on all that stuff, bro. We
awesome.
try to make sure this stuff is as streamlined and as compatible with pretty much everything that's out there.
That's cool, man. Hey, yo, RipZz, I appreciate you, man. Like I said, we're going to have to make this a regular thing, dude. Get you on like a round table with some of these other content creators. Once we do like a wrestle stream, you're definitely invited. We'll have to get AEW Mod Forever over here. I know this boy hasn't shown his face yet. You know what I mean? A whole big deal. But we're going to have to get him over here, dude. And then,
no, absolutely.
Face too, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, RipZz, I appreciate you, bro. Love you, man. I appreciate everything that you guys do, man, for this.
I love you too, man. I appreciate the opportunity, just bringing me on and, just kicking it, man.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Hey, I'm Jesse. He's RipZz. We'll see you next week right here on the Pro Wrestling Shoot. Peace.